Wigxanthium mumble rap is the next song, y'all. And all I'm gonna do is pick a corporate product. What's the worst corporate brand that you could think of? And I'm just gonna repeat the brand names, right? Long John Silver got that Long John Silver, got that Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway, JC Penney corn chips, JC Penney corn chips, Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway, Long John Silver got that Long John Silver, got that Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway, JC Penney corn chips, JC Penney corn chips, Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway, Long John Silver got that Long John Silver, got that Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway, JC Penney corn chips, JC Penney corn chips, Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway, Long John Silver got that Long John Silver, got that Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway, JC Penney corn chips, JC Penney corn chips, Long John Quiznos, Pringles, Subway. All you do is you repeat stupid corporate. Here we go. Carnival Crew, Carnival Crew, Carnival Crew, Carnival Crew, Planet Fitness, Planet Fitness, McDonald's, 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 McDonald's. Fringe core, mumble rap. Fringe core, fringe core, fringe core, fringe core, fringe core, I got that blockbuster, I got that blockbuster, I got that Palantir, I got that Palantir, I got that Wells Fargo, I got that Wells Fargo, Tylenol, Tylenol, I got no Bisco, I got no Bisco, I got that TJ Maxx, I got that TJ Maxx, I got Balenciaga, I got Balenciaga, I got Balenciaga, I got Balenciaga. This is fun. I'm like a rapper now. I'm a rapper now. Dang, I just realized it. You bet it's cringe. It's called cringe core, dummy. Dude thinks he's on the cutting edge, the cusp of cutting edge, calling me cringe. Fringe core, fringe core, fringe core, fringe core, fringe core, fringe core, got the CA, got the TJ Maxx, got that Zap, got that Dap, got that Gap, got that Kraft, got that Long John Silver.
You Orthodox apologists are absolutely freaking disgusting. You're a disgusting human being.
Listen to the fake sniffs, dude. The fake sniffs, that is just hilarious to me. And the fake sniffles are the icing cake.
You're a disgusting human being. All of these Orthodox guys were silent. You are trash. I'm not. I'm not. You're a disgusting human being. All of these Orthodox guys were silent. You are trash. I'm not. I'm not.
Listen to the fake sniffs, dude. The fake sniffs, that is just hilarious to me.
That's how Orthodox Christianity. It really isn't.
And the fake sniffles are the icing on the cake.
You are a disgusting human being. We cannot call ourselves Christian and do this. You disgusting pigs. That is vile.
The only reason we're disgusting is that day one we pegged you as a total fraud and we were right, and now you're having a meltdown just like any feminist TikToker girl that gets called out. They did the exact same thing. They have an emotional, these people are just the worst and it's unbelievable. They didn't capitalize on a tragedy like me, publicly showing how much I pray for everyone.
You're a disgusting human being. You are trash. That's how Orthodox Christianity. It really isn't.
You're a disgusting human being. You are trash.
Listen to the fake sniffs, dude. The fake sniffs, that is just hilarious to me.
Try to stop it, throw your little hissy fit, 'cause I'm in love with the I'm on our fears, feeling all of your fears. Crying little man tears, crying cause I'm moved. Crying cause I'm a little bitch, a bitch with a sassy face. Sassy little backpack full of limbo spread, full of little limbo spread. Put on a little bit of lemon spread on limbo spread. Itty bitty you, feeling on our fears, feeling all your fears. Willow versus evil witch, nasty little son of a bitch. Willow versus evil witch, sassy little bitch, sassy little backpack, sassy little Frodo. Packing Elijah Wood, pack it where you know I should. Pack a little limbo spread, limbo spread. Pack a little limbo spread. Goes good with my style. Love with the hobby. Don't you try to stop it. Throw a little hissy fit, cause I'm in. Ooh, love with a hobby. Ooh, I'm in love with a hobby. Don't you try to stop it. Throw your little hissy fit, cause I'm in love with a ooh. I'm on Elvis, feeling all of your fears. Crying little man tears, crying cause I'm crying cause I'm a little bitch, a bitch with a sassy face. Full of limbo spread, full of limbo spread. Put on a little bit of lemon spread. Lemon spread on lemon spread. Itty bitty ooh, feeling all our fears, feeling all your fears. Ooh, Willow versus evil witch, nasty little son of my bitch. Willow versus evil witch, sassy little bitch, sassy little backpack, sassy little Frodo. Back in Elijah Wood, pack it where you know I should. Pack a little limbo spread, pack a little limbo spread. Goes good with mustard.
All right, it's about that time. People already dropping off. What is this? I don't understand it. You were never meant to understand it. Y'all like that second camera? I forgot to turn off whatever the hell, automatic. Whatever's happening. Automatic lighting. That's all effed up, dude. But look at this. This is for the guests and the other people in the Jamies. Y'all remember Jamie? She sits over here. This is freaking fancy, dude. I'm so fancy. London to Tokyo. I don't even know what's happening that's so fancy in here. The gadgets. I don't even know how to work the gadgets. It's like, what do I do? I'm over here on my banana phone calling up all the atheists. Hey, could y'all atheists help me work the tech, bros? Help me work the tech, y'all. All right, it's gonna be open forum here in a second. I guess I gotta turn off that automatic light shifting somehow. But anyway, we got it going. That's 2 cams. Just like all the other official podcasters, we are the first official podcaster now to have 2 cameras. That makes us officially fancies and sassies all at once. Jamie, we got 2 cameras. Sassy and fancy all at once. She's not having any horseplay today. She's all business today. She says she's not having that. All right, today, as you guys know, it's open forum. That means you can call in on all kinds of different topics. That's just too damn dark right there. That's dork. That's a dork setting. But you get the idea, right, what we got going. We are going to be opening it up on pretty much any topic you guys want to discuss. I'm going to try to bite my lip and be in a good mood and not be mean to people, because people get their feelings hurt. And if you're mean to them, they will tell on you. They will tattletale to the internet police that you hurt the feelings. I'm going to bite my lip, and we're going to exercise what some call patience. Y'all heard of her? Let's invoke that chick, Patience. Maybe she come visit us today. Patience, where you at? It's your time to shine. The topics are, as usual, pretty much anything in the domain of philosophy, geopolitics, theology, debate, feminism, Gnosticism, liberalism, libertarianism. It's all on the table if you want to go there. Now, somebody's super chat just disappeared. I don't understand what's happening here. There was a $50 super chat that was there, and then it went away. So what the heck happened there? What skullduggeries are happening here? What's happening? Somebody sent $50 and it went away. Bring it back. You were already winning the super chat competition, and it left. And I don't even see it over here on the list of super chats. Anyway, so the topics, as we said, are pretty open today. You can talk about biblical theology, history. You can talk about geopolitics, whatever's on your mind. If you have a question, feel free to ask a question. If you want to bring up a debate topic, you want to challenge me on something you think I'm wrong about, feel free to make your argument. Please make arguments, though. We want to have logical, rational discussion. We want to have coherent arguments. We don't want to have a bunch of dumb stuff, spitting out a bunch of assertions. So let's bring the argumentation. What's up, dude? J-Lo, what's up, man? I'm you, dude. JT, what's up? JT, I'm mute. I kind of like this fading in and out here. It's kind of sexy. JT, man, you're just sitting there. Are you going to talk or not, man? John, what's up? Y'all like my little ghetto stand right here of Choose Your Own Adventure books? That's how we roll around here. We got fancy ass cameras, but we still do it ghetto style, stacking up Choose Your Own Adventures. What's up, man? I'm mute. What's up, man? Are you there? All right, well, we're off to a banger start today. JT, you want to try again? Unmute. Good grief, dude. Everybody's just suddenly new to the internet. I don't understand. Get out of here. Who's next? Something ninjas?
Hey, Jay.
Yo.
I think I got it figured out now. Before I discovered your channel, I heard about Tag from Darth Dawkins. And I was really into it for a while until, I figured out the whole Protestant and thing. And of course, I liked your argumentation much better. And just a couple of weeks ago, I debated him on his TikTok channel. And I was very disappointed. First, I brought up debating you, and he made a point that that you follow, or that all Orthodox follow the Church of Man and the laws of man instead
Church of
of
Man.
laws of God. And
Yeah.
I was very disappointed.
That's the
He
official
kinda,
name of it, the Church of Man. Correct.
Yeah, his argument. He basically just tried to corner me and ask me these loaded questions, and he wouldn't let me discuss anything, and just like browbeat me and kicked me off. And when I thanked him for the opportunity, I think he blocked me. So I was very disappointed. And I don't think he's ever gonna want to debate you. And I've always wanted to see that.
I've asked before, and he just ignores it. So no, I don't. Wouldn't take that guy very seriously.
Yeah, it was disappointing because he was my introduction to tag, and I would have hoped that it had a happier ending. But in the meantime, there's a account here on Twitter, Zacharias Idris Abdi, whom I just had a discussion with earlier. About
Idris
debating
Elba?
you.
Well,
And
Idris Elba ain't up in here trying to debate tag.
Well, he accepted, and I said, "Hey, Jay's
Nobody
going
gets the
live now,
jokes.
so hopefully he shows up."
Good, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, bring him up in here. I'll debate Idris Elba. I don't care if he is going to be Black James Bond. The only legitimate Black James Bond is right here. Okay, this is the only legitimate BIPOC, 00 BIPOC, sitting in your camera screen right here. So bring it on, Idris Elba. What's up, man? I make jokes and people don't even get it. Like that cracks me up even more when I say stupid shit and then people are, yes, correct, yes. What's up, man?
Hey,
hello.
am I on here?
You on here?
Okay, sorry. My bad. Jay, I'm a huge fan of the show. I was wondering, I'm trying to catch up on my reading here. I don't have a whole lot of time, and I don't have time to dig through all your old YouTube videos. I was wondering if you could explain your thoughts on the cosmological argument and how I vaguely remember hearing you say one time, like, it is used at some points in like the church fathers, like John of Damascus. But I know you prefer like form of divine conceptualism or exemplarism. But I just was wondering what your thoughts were if like I vaguely remember hearing you say that these. Am I on here?
You are on here.
Okay, my bad. I'm in the middle of nowhere right now, so forgive me. But I was wondering if you had any books or anything that you would recommend on this topic to see if there's any compatible kind of overlap between the cosmological argument, where it fits, how to make it kind of compatible in your worldview.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that the cosmological argument assumes a lot of metaphysical principles that, this is too loud, man, these car calls, man. It assumes a lot of things that modern philosophy will question. So it doesn't really work to just constantly sort of reassert things from the ancient medieval world when the opponents are going to question the assumptions that the cosmological argument rests on. So, for example, if you're an empiricist, which many foundationalists are, then the problem is that, as David Hume said, you don't actually observe causation. You're observing event A and you're observing event B, and you're assuming causation to explain what happens in this process of billiard ball A hitting billiard ball B, but you don't actually see causation. Now, maybe there is causation, but the problem is that it's assumed in every causal event. So how do we know that causation or causality is a principal operant in the world? Perhaps there's indirect causation. Perhaps there's quantum foam. Perhaps, there's a retroactive causation. I mean, I'm not saying those things are true. I'm just saying, like, we don't have the same assumptions of the medieval and ancient world. And so it doesn't work to keep rehashing ancient medieval arguments to address the challenges of modern skepticism and post Enlightenment, post, Kantian philosophy. So you could reformulate the cosmological argument in a transcendental way to say something like, without the cosmological or causal principle operant in the world, you could not have any real rational coherent knowledge. So that's one way to reformulate it and restate it to where it would work better, in my view. Otherwise, you're just spinning the wheels trying to, restate things that aren't addressing what the atheist skeptic is actually questioning. For example, how do we, in other words, in order to argue from the external world that there is a causal principle, I have to assume that there's a causal relationship between the external data and my senses, that this external world is impressing, is causing me to have the sensations. So I can't assume causation to prove causation, right? And these are really unavoidable problems for the classical style of foundationalist approaches. So remember, the real issue is that after Descartes and Kant and Hume, philosophy shifts away from metaphysics and the assumptions of metaphysics. And I'm not against metaphysics, but the world of Western philosophy shifts to asking epistemic questions first and saying that you can't put your metaphysical cart before your epistemic horse. How do you know that all these metaphysical principles are true? So in other words, they pivot towards whether you can justify the metaphysical claims rather than just assuming them and just restating and saying things like, well, because we know that there's causation. That's not sufficient good answers. But that's really where modern philosophy kind of goes. So, and there's other critiques as well. For example, what kind of deity does just a mere principle of causation necessarily prove? How do we know that it's one God? How do we know there's not multiple first principles? How do we know that it's not the gods? How do we know that it's not Satan? What if Satan's the first cause? And you'll notice a lot of other religions, like Islam, will use the same argument, and ignorant, naive Christians think, well, we can all team up together because we're all monotheists, and use this same line of argumentation. But what good is an argument that proves the same deity as the Muslims, the Scientologists, the Satanists, etc.? All of them could potentially use a first cause argument. I apologize. I think it was Banana Up the Butt that sent that $50 super chat. So I don't know if it just disappeared or if he sort of took it back, which is fine. But I don't want Banana Up the Butt to think that I'm not reading his super chats, but it appears to have disappeared from the super chat list. So Banana, if you're there, I apologize. I don't really know what happened, but it doesn't appear to be there anymore. So I don't know, but thank you for the super chat nonetheless. You're one of the classic, fat super chatters. Also, Father Deacon Dr. Ananias and I have actually done many old podcasts addressing the problems in the classical argumentation. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, what's up, Jake? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just had two quick things. I found a book just in the middle of nowhere in Montana at a used bookstore, and I was curious if you've reviewed it. I haven't seen it. It's The CIA and the Cult of Intelligence by Victor Marchetti.
I've referenced it many times, and I have it, but we've not done an entire podcast on it. But it's it's one of the early, I think, 70s or 80s era, well-known critiques of the modus operandi of the CIA. So it is a very well-known one. Marchetti, for example, in the text talks about the CIA using religious engineering. I think this ran through twice. It just tastes like watered down tea. It doesn't taste like coffee. Could you just give me, thank you. Anyway, so I apologize for not, focusing on the text. We should do that text eventually. There's just so many books to get through. I'm trying to get through the Burton Hirsch Old Boys book, which is really important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just found it in some used bookstore in the middle of nowhere, and actually a couple good things there.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a good critique.
Yeah. So and then the second thing is kind of random, but I watched. So there's this video of Tom Cruise, and he has like this mini debate in an interview with Matt Lauer, and they talk about like antidepressants.
Yeah, that's old school. Alex used to play that clip all the time. Oh,
okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, just thought it would be something that if you didn't see it, that would be kind of cool to react to.
It would be fun to see that again because that's a classic kind of that's a rare Tom Coombe win. So every now and then, even Tom Coombe can score a nice win. So anyway, you guys like the new? I wish I had. I mean, you don't really know how to do all this until you experiment with it. But where did my camera go? My camera has disappeared. Anyway, we'll get all the new camera stuff working here, and I'll be super fancy. Noah, what's up? Noah, what's on your mind? Unmute.
Oh, what's up? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I heard about your criticism of Carl Jung, and I wanted to. I kind of disagree with it.
Okay.
And I think you were saying that the shadow is like occultish or whatever. And my take from reading like Carl Jung's books was that it was more symbolic and it was more about trauma and integrating your limiting beliefs. And I wanted to know, like, what would you think about that?
I mean, he says in Archetypes of the Collective Unconscious that he's explicitly drawing from the Gnostic tradition. So it's explicitly Gnosticism. So it's not all merely symbolic.
Oh, I guess I got to get into reading. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Have you not read that one? I mean, that is his sort of main. That's the main one. There's many of them, but that's Jamie. What's up, man? Jaime. Wonder why this camera has stopped working here. Anyway, we'll get it working.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
My question, just bear with me. My question would be about how, for some parts on the East Coast, there might be more selection for Orthodox churches in comparison to more rural states.
Mm-hmm.
And my question would be not related to that, but it's more around how do you see the future of sort of like Orthodoxy in the U.S. developing? And by that, I mean, do you think there's always going to be a mix of, Greeks, Russians, and maybe the OCA, or do you think that there's going to be people that sort of want to make the OCA or certain groups the predominant group within the U.S.?
I mean, sorry, could you ask the question again? Because I was doing something with the camera. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, my question would be, do you think that there's going to be a push to sort of make a centralized or have one jurisdiction within the U.S.? So like the OCA being the predominant group, or do you think there's always going to be
there is a push for that. I don't know whether that will ever succeed, though. It would just probably lead to a schism. Good question, though. What's up? What's up? I'm you.
Oh, hey, sorry.
No problem.
Hey Jay, I'm a big appreciator of the show for a while, and I definitely have some questions about what your opinions on some current waves online are, especially when it comes to I don't even know what to call it, but on one hand, you have all of these like man-hating feminists that are hardcore about abortion and everything. And on the other side of, I'd see it as the flip side of the coin, is you have men that hate women so much, they refuse to even talk to them and even would rather have the AI robot girlfriend thing. Very curious what your opinion of that is and what you would say if any of them ever tried to come to you about like, all women should die, they're all terrible, blah. Because I've interacted with some of them and I never know what to say. Also, I guess the second question is, there's some people who, when it comes to sexual immorality, don't want to accept any of what the church has to say about it. They're like, oh, show me in the Bible. And then it's like, and then they want to interpret it in their own way and completely refute it, where it's like, oh, well, it doesn't say anything about self-abuse, so that means I can do it just because it doesn't explicitly use that word. So yeah, I guess what your thoughts are on that.
Well, again, I mean, the teaching of our religion is pretty clear on those things, and so you can't hate women and you can't hate men and you can't do either one. So, Christianity is a religion that teaches patriarchy, and it's a false dialectic to think that you have to choose between MGTOW or feminism or something like that. It should, that should be an obvious. I'm not faulting you, but it's a pretty obvious engineered gender warfare to destroy the fabric of civilization. That's the purpose of it. But people want to continue to be Weird and Skittles, you know, it just doesn't work. What's up, JR? I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by self-abuse. Like, well, that's a bunch of stuff I probably can't say on YouTube, but by the way, I saw that X has reinstated the no words policy, which means that you get deboosted if you say the no words. So
Can you hear me?
yeah, what's up, John?
Hey, I was getting distracted because Tristan's in the chat.
Well, he'll do that. He's got the face to distract, for sure.
That's true. He does. That's true. In light of what the young lady there was saying, is this, which I can actually say that I could ever see this manifesting the way it has with the, you know, gender wars. But this has been a plan for a long time, and then like brought this book up before. I know you said Jamie read it. Is Love, Sex, and Robots.
Yeah, she did a podcast on that book.
Yeah, and we talked about it back in the day too. But and then there's another older book called Androgyny by June Singer, and those two books basically kind of complement each other and kind of lay out the plan of what they want to do as far as how to engineer the person of the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be like half kind of, you're going to be like this like technodroid person who like plugs into the sex bot and with your, you know, whatever the newest cell phone is in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically going to read all your stuff that you've been posting all day long on whatever sphere is the future sphere, the Twitter of the future. And then it'll be like this narcissistic kind of robot that's going to like feed back to you all of your likes and pleasures. But then if you read that June Singer book, have you ever heard of that book?
I've not, no.
What's that?
I have not.
I actually found out about it from Alan Watt back in the day, but it's this book, and it's by an academic, but she talks about androgyny in like an esoteric way. It's not anything like academic. It's just basically talking about how the hermaphrodite in the zodiac is going to manifest itself into reality. It's a bizarre book. I totally forgot that I had it. I was just reading it recently, and I wanted to bring that up to that caller. So
appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there's so many of these prophetic books like that kind of predicted and are predicting where we're going to go. And John's always a great resource. Appreciate that, John. Yeah, feel free to comment, chime in. Justinian, what's up?
Hey there, Jay. I'm here to refute you on Quandus.
Okay.
You see, I think that we can offer a bit of charity and not listen to her on certain things because she's not saying it ex cathedra.
How do we know when it is and isn't Q cathedra?
Well, you see, she has to do a little dance on a table beforehand.
Okay.
And then it's infallible.
How do you know when she's actually doing the official dance and not the traditional non-official Candace dance?
Well, you see, I don't matter, but she has the keys, so yeah.
Oh, thank you. Now that's a key point to understand there, is that in the wake of all the absolute nonsense that's going around, it's important to remember, always be grounded in something more nonsensical than last week. So just remember, that's great practical approach to navigating this world, is to always buy into the most ridiculous conclusions and you'll be safe. So this is going around. unfortunately, Owen Schroyer is saying a lot of weird things, and I'm not saying this because he had a falling out with Alex. I don't know anything about that. Didn't have any part in any of that. And the last week of what Owen is posting is getting really bizarre. I don't have any problem with Owen. He's always been nice to me on his show. He's had me on when he was hosting War Room 3-4 times, I don't recall. But suddenly we're getting we live in a simulation push from Owen, which is ridiculous and nonsensical. There's no way actually to show that you live in a simulation or to prove it. In fact, it's actually a defeater for the possibility of knowledge, because it's another kind of Maya Hindu type of metaphysical assumption that would destroy the possibility of knowledge. And he's also now, and I don't know if he's just doing this for clicks, but like pushing the most ridiculous, like clickbait shit. Like, this is so stupid. Remember when they were that TikTok thing was going around that Nicolas Cage is like a 500-year-old vampire because there's an old 1800s, 1700s picture of a guy who looks like Nick Cage. So now Owen Schroyer is pushing all of this kind of stuff, interviewing and promoting Sneeko, possibly the worst of the face lords. I mean, it's hard to pick a worst. Sneeko is one of the worst. Just absolute low IQ retardation. But if you're against AIPAC, you must be a saint. That's really the only qualification for being a hero and a saint, is if you criticize Zionists and Jews. That's it. So pretty much that's the only criteria now for anything in media. Then you can also, on top of that, say the most ridiculous stuff, like that he didn't even know what the books of the Bible were when he was saying that Nicaea decided the books of the Bible, all 12 books. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? And we all remember when I came on to debate Muslim Lantern and Sneeko, how disastrous that was. But somehow, for some reason, we're supposed to believe that all of these mouthpieces of Sunni Islam, whether it's the Tates or whether it's Sneeko, they're all really awesome based right-wingers because they talk about Zionism and they diss Bibi. And now Owen is promoting and pushing Sneeko. And I just don't, I mean, I get it from the vantage point of clicks, I guess. Does Sneeko bring that much of an audience? I don't know, but from the vantage point of what's true, like, this is just retarded. Like, I just don't understand. So here's Owen pushing the simulation theory with the most ridiculous Erica Kirk nonsense. So I guess the whole world is basically going to go insane with Candace. All of media is going to go insane with Candace, pushing the stupidest stuff. I had family members this weekend telling me that they still watch Candace and they're into Candace. I'm like, so you have a family member right here who's been telling you for the last 20 years all the conspiracy stuff, most of which I've been correct about, but you'd rather listen to Candace than me. But that's how it goes, of course, with family members. Everyone is literally just going insane, choosing the most retorted. I think we can't say the R word anymore. We have to change it up. I think we'd say, actually, it's funny. It's like now YouTube, we can say more on YouTube than we can on X. So how the tables have turned. We are still free to say our beloved retarded word over here on YouTube, but X put out a thing saying, no, you will now be deboosted when you say the bad words.
This is Erica Kirk. Another Erica Kirk. Same exact name, same exact spelling, both political wives, both married to outspoken Republicans. Current Erica is nicknamed Miss Arizona, and the first Erica was nicknamed Madam X. People called the first Erica Kirk.
Okay, what is that? What's the connection there? So, like, this is the level of the TikTok brain rot where people are at, and this is being shared. Like, okay, so it is interesting when you have these coincidences, like the parallels between Abraham Lincoln and JFK. Okay, but that doesn't make JFK the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln. And by the way, this woman doesn't even look that much like Erica Kirk. So, and what is the connection between being called Miss Arizona and Madam X? Like, there's not even a loose association. Like, let's hear this again. This is so stupid.
Erica Kirk. Same exact name, same exact spelling, both political wives, both married to outspoken Republicans. Current Erica is nicknamed Miss Arizona, and the first Erica was nicknamed Madam X. People called the first Erica Kirk Madam X because they say she just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Both have...
I mean, they don't even look the same, first of all. And there are things called coincidences, people. Go ahead.
She's a time traveler.
Apparently.
Striking blue eyes.
No, wait a minute. Does it prove, wait a minute, but how do we know, does it prove time travel or does it prove that we live in a simulation? Which one does that prove? I don't understand. How do we know?
So the one thing that, you know, the one pet peeve that I think me and you both used to have back in the day, it's definitely my pet peeve, is the mud flood. Tartaria. Yeah. So all of this like goes together, like Mandela effect, Tartaria, time travel, you know, simulation. All of that stuff goes together, and even flat Earth too. Flat Earth like kind of plays into it as well. Because I'm not just saying that. I'm saying that there's people who go and connect all of those things to each other, and it's all by way of connecting it through what the lady in that video just connected it. It's like, oh, hey, one's called Madam X, one's called Miss Arizona. Don't you see the connection there?
Yeah, it's basically it's like, it's postmodern myth making. So if you can make the myth and brand your own conspiracy effectively enough, it's, I mean, I'm not saying postmodernism is true, but I'm saying this is the attitude of people now. It's like, just make a truth, make a story, come up with something.
And blonde hair. They even do their eyeliner the same. And personally, I think they have...
Well, if they do their eyeliner the same, I guess it's case closed, right?
The same face structure. The first Erica Kirk passed away now, but was from Palm Beach County, Florida, which raises another huge red flag. If you've been following my videos, you know why. I don't want to tell you guys what to think. I'm simply giving you the information. Do you think these are like all coincidences, or is there something else going on here?
No, there's nothing going on. It's completely retarded, and it's unfortunate to see Owen sharing nonsense.
And this will be the last point I'll make on that is there's another thing that's kind of annoying is like there's a lot of people out there now and they're pointing out like how weird stuff happens in their towns. Right? And like, so that's what that lady's implying. I haven't watched her videos or anything, but I've seen other people do this where it's like, she says, oh, you know, this lady was from Palm Beach, Florida. And if you've watched, you know, all 500 of my videos on Palm Beach, Florida and how weird it is and how there's corruption there, then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
And so the thing of it is, just for everybody, every town has corruption and weird stuff happening.
I remember saying I was talking to somebody one time and they were like, yes. And by the way, Titusville, Florida, that's where they do the MK Ultra things. And I'm like, how do you know that? Why is that? And they said, well, because there's NASA stuff there. So it's like, because there's NASA stuff there, it necessarily is the place where they mind control the alters in the, you know, Delta programmed, you know, sex kittens or whatever. And it's like,
oh, because there isn't an entire state called California where NASA like runs the whole thing.
Yeah. So basically you can pick a town and I mean, there's a Freemasonic lodge in every city. So is every city mind controlling people in the Freemasonic lodges? I mean, in a sense they are, but not in the sense of like
too, is that it's like, yes, weird stuff and corruption is happening in every single town. You will find weird things going on in your town. That does not mean like, oh, hey, just so you know, this is where the Illuminati's based.
It's all connected. Not everything is all connected. This is you know, in fallacies, we have what's called non sequiturs, right? So you need to establish or show there is a connection, right? You might have a suspicion, but it doesn't mean that it's connected. So I apologize for eating a banana on camera, but it is a tribute to all of our atheist bros out here, monkey boys. Shout out to Matt Dillon Monkey.
After seeing that.
But I had to go help my family today, so I didn't have time to eat lunch. That's why we were a little bit late today. So here is Matt Fradd pushing another interesting bunch of nonsense, which is, oh, you see, the only way that he would have converted out of Judaism is if it was a miracle. And if he says Mary spoke to him, it's a miracle, right? The problem isn't whether it can happen. The problem is that a lot of times when you have these things as the basis for your conversion, these are not wise things to base a conversion on. And notice this is just like all the charismatic stuff. How many charismatics and Pentecostals say, I had visions of Jesus. Jesus came to me. And now we have well, but he's Jewish, right? So it's got to be true because he's a Jewish guy and he converted. Well, listen to this.
I went to that church. I had a dream. And in that dream, I was at a Catholic church. And I remember in that dream seeing families and children just running around and everybody's so happy. And all of a sudden, I feel the voice of who I knew was the Blessed Virgin Mary. And I could see her dressed in this garment that was like a yellow under and blue on top. I didn't see the face and I didn't hear the voice. I felt the voice and she said, I'm happy for you. And I understood that she was saying this because I was now following the church or going into what her son established. I didn't know all the theology. I didn't know anything about typology, but I had this prior to going to that church. You know, a year later, I went to this little chapel that was behind that church. And what do I find? A picture of Our Lady dressed exactly like what I saw in that vision.
Okay. You had the dream because Mary is almost always pictured in the same garb because that's just standard in even Latin, representations of Mary. So it doesn't mean that, but here's what happens is like, if you base the religion and the proofs of the religion on these kinds of things, it's so easy to be deceived and misled. So first and foremost, what does the Old Testament say about dreams and visions? Well, if you remember in Jeremiah 23, we have the warning that the false prophets, and I'm not saying this person is malicious, he may be sincere, he may really believe that he's had a miraculous vision, and perhaps he has, but the problem is that me as the viewer, I'm supposed to accept this from Matt Fradd as evidence of papism. But in my worldview, my paradigm, Mary is never going to confirm papism, right? So the question for me then is to these people, when I read Jeremiah 23 and it says the false prophets actually are deceived because they prophesy a vision of their own hearts and not of God. That's what's in Jeremiah 23, right? This whole chapter is about do not listen to prophets who prophesy. Well, wait a minute. What if they predict the future? Well, remember Deuteronomy 13, Deuteronomy 18 says that sometimes even the false prophets can actually be accurate. Well, if they're accurate, then how do we know when we can, and what's the criteria about which we sift through the false and the true visions? Because remember, it's not just Roman Catholics and Latin mystics, right? There's also visions that are claimed to be from Muslims. Muslims claim to have visions. There's Sufis that claim to have visions. There's Hindus. Sai Baba claim to have miraculous powers. But they speak a vision of their own heart and not from the Lord. Now, this is obviously talking about a specific situation in the history of Jeremiah's day, right? Dealing with the oncoming Babylonian captivity and the fall of Israel, and the false prophets were saying, oh, don't worry, there's nothing to worry about. Don't listen to Jeremiah and his warnings, right? So that's the context here. But if I know from this passage that there are false prophets who might even be sincere, who prophesy a vision of their own hearts, how do I delineate between what is the true and what is the false prophecy? Well, guess what? Turns out there's already laid down prior revelation that tells you how to delineate. So I said, well, Daniel had visions. Yeah, but we aren't living in the Old Testament period or in a period of ongoing public revelation. We're not living in a period when there's new public divine revelations. So the stance has to be very skeptical and to not necessarily buy into these things, even if the people are sincere. And it's just amazing to me that it's so common in the Roman Catholic world. Look at Candace. She has these intuitions, these visions. Charlie's speaking to her out of purgatory. She went and talked to her trad-cat priest. Her trad-cat priest confirms it. Yes, that's Charlie speaking to you from purgatory. She has these intuitions that Mary helped things to happen because it happened on a Marian feast day. Okay. And for these people, this confirms Roman Catholicism and papism for them. But don't you understand that these events, you're going to interpret them in a way that will confirm your biases, confirmation bias. So how do we get out of this dilemma? How do we know? Well, prior divine revelation and what's already laid down has to be the standard. If you read Deuteronomy 13, Deuteronomy 18, Galatians 1, Jude 3, all of those passages lay down principles even when the signs and the wonders come to pass. And there's a striking condemnation of people that would try to get you to follow stuff that's against the prior revelation, even if the predictions come true. Deuteronomy says, even if there's a prophecy or a miracle, and they tell you to go after some other theology or deity or whatever, you don't listen to it. That principle doesn't change. It doesn't go away. Well, that was in Deuteronomy. Paul's using the same principle in Galatians 1. Jude is using the same principle in Jude 3. The faith was once for all delivered. Okay, so there's not going to be new additional public revelations that go beyond the scope of divine revelation. Now, this person, I'm sure, would say, well, I'm not saying that my vision of Mary is public revelation. This was just my own private revelation, which is a thing that Roman Catholics often appeal to say, you know, none of these things are binding. Well, the problem is that in the Roman Catholic world, you can say that all day long, but there are no Roman Catholics that treat Fatima as mere private revelation. Fatima is treated like dogma, and everybody knows that. Even if they technically won't say it is, it's pretty much treated that way. And so what happens is that opens the doorway for Garabandal, Medjugorje, Bayside, all of these other apparitions, just like this Jewish man's apparition vision or whatever he had. And so it's shaky foundation is what I'm trying to say. And does Matt Fradd bring up any of these checks and balances and firewalls? No, he just puts out what he thinks is a viral, clickbait clip.
You know what's weird is the move by the Daily Wire to acquire Catholics. They're not really all that interested in Protestants, it seems.
Well, I think Tim Gordon sent me a message the other day saying basically most of the, it may not have been Tim, I'm not trying to falsely attribute it. I don't remember. Some Catholics mentioned to me the other day, like pretty much all of the normie Catholic apologists are Ziocons. So that's why. I mean, the Daily Wire has achieved it's achieving its goal as, basically voice of Netanyahu openly by acquiring these Ziocon Catholics. So.
Yeah, that looks like an ecumenist move there, is what I'm getting at.
But it's not just an ecumenist move. It's specifically, there's a push to move the Catholic sphere into the Ziocon world, which has been going on since Vatican II and Nostra Aetate, and of course the Skittles priest that wrote Nostra Aetate and then left the priesthood is a great example of this. In fact, there's a famous magazine that the Tradcats used to always cite called Look Magazine, which is a Jewish magazine, and there was an article several decades ago in Look Magazine about how Judaism had conquered and won at Vatican II by getting the Vatican to rewrite its positions on Judaism. And I was surprised to see, I didn't watch the Fuentes-Wieben interview, but apparently Fuentes admits that now Rome has pretty much left its traditional policies on, he didn't word it like it's a contradiction in dogma, but he did admit the point that we've been making for so long, which is that, well, bro, Nostra Aetate and the Vatican and John Paul II, like, they don't believe your Tradcat Good Friday prayers about perfidious Middle Eastern people anymore. So they're being forced to admit this after years of calling up me every name in the book, saying the worst things about me imaginable, absolute just vile hatred of me for merely telling them what their own dogmas are. Now, we're gonna go back to the calls here, but I did want to also mention a couple funny things. Was one, there was some debate over whether this is actually a Catholic church. I'm not really sure, but really at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter because there've already been Novus Ordo Catholic churches. I want to say maybe even it was either Germany or Italy where they were actually inviting imams to do the Muslim prayers in the cathedral. So this could technically be a German Protestant church. It just says German church, and everybody kind of assumed that was Novus Ordo. But it already exists. And by the way, what's even the problem if it was? Because Nostra Aetate and Lumen Gentium 16 say that Muslims, Christians, and Jews, and that would include Protestants, all worship the same generic God anyway. So here you have imams reading the prayers in churches in Germany. Now, let's say for the sake of argument, this is how dumb this is and how bad this is for the trad cats that were calling this out. Oh, so wait a minute. If you're a trad cat and you're calling this out and saying that it doesn't count because it was a Protestant church, well, that implies that it's wrong to do this. But why is it wrong to do this if the popes pray in the mosque towards Mecca? And if Vatican II says clear as day in Lumen Gentium 16 and Nostra Aetate 3 that we all worship the same God. So by your admission that it's wrong, you're admitting that Vatican II is wrong. But they're not too swift. They can't think this through. What's up, Alexander?
Hey, Jay. How you doing, sir?
What's on your mind, dog? I'm good.
I just wanted to talk about some of the Quandis garbage.
Please do.
I think one of the things, I've called her conviction chameleon for years now. That's been the term I've used for her because I don't know if you remember, but she originally got started doxing right-wingers.
Oh, I've heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like her, I forget the name of the website, Project something. But she originally got started doxing people, and then she moved on to Red Pill Black, doing her sassy black.
I remember when she was Red Pill Black. That's when I first heard of her.
Yeah, but she's always done whatever, got her the most money, the most attention at that moment. And I think what's happened now is that she's figured out her audience is the conspiracy cat ladies.
Yes.
It's the 35 to 50-year-old women who are just
wine moms.
ready, waiting with bated breath for every word that she says.
It's wine moms, yes.
Yeah, pretty much just wine moms. But there's one thing you said the other day that really got me thinking. You compared her loosely to Jordan Peterson. And I think it's a really interesting comparison because you know how Jordan Peterson kind of he had to invent his own type of this is what is really true, guys. Like this is what is my idea, my
right.
thing. So she's kind of following that same logic, that same right. career path almost of Jordan Peterson, where she knows the truth, guys. You need to turn into me. I'm going to tell you everything. And it's all these crazy, wild conspiracies. And it can't be something else that somebody said. It can't be something logical that you can come to your own conclusion on. No, it has to be the most insane thing possible that only she could tell you.
And all of these idiots triple down and quadruple down on everything she says. No skepticism, no, none of it. They literally just follow it. Now, I wanted to point this out because there's a new episode that just dropped. I want to play a little bit of the new Candace episode that everybody's talking about. Y'all ready for it? Here it goes.
You've never had a reading from a real psychic. Try us right now for free. Your father had a stroke at a young age, did he not?
Right.
Did you get strep throat a great deal in your late teen years?
Yes, I did.
Okay. His eyes are almost spooky. They're so pretty.
That would be my ex-boyfriend.
The 5 of swords is next to him.
By the way, y'all are laughing. Candace uses the same logic as Miss Cleo. Did you see his eyes? I mean, it's like, okay, it's like the eyes were just like, I just got a really weird vibe when I look at their eyes. And okay, I look at the eyes, and it's like, that's the same argument as Miss Cleo.
And that means that he is away.
Yep.
Did you think Cleo wasn't going to see that?
Oh, I knew you were.
Oh, you go, girl. 6'2", probably about 240 pounds, right?
Right.
He is married to that one too, and him fool around even more than the other one does.
Right.
Okay, you know that.
In fooling around. Anyway, what else on your mind, Alex?
No, I mean, one more thing that I want to talk about real fast too is that is Owen Schroyer saying that we live in a simulation now? I didn't see that. Is that for real?
It's a real tweet. So I don't know.
That's wild. I mean,
and he's pushing now. He's pushing Sneak. Now he's pushing Sneeko
to be a little bit more gullible. I don't know if you saw when Donald Trump tweeted out that picture of the dead bald eagle that was killed apparently by like one of the wind turbines or something. And then they're like going down the rabbit hole. Orange Shore was one of them, like leading the charge. Like, oh man, that windmill was made in Israel. What's Donald Trump trying to say? Like obviously the most logical reason is that he's just a boomer politician who likes, he likes birds, and he just tweeted out something because he saw that. But like in their mind, it's like, oh, he's turning on Bibi, guys. He's going against Israel.
Well, and then
single one of his actions for like 8 years straight has pointed out that that's obviously not the case.
Well, also, like, he just had this interview promoting Sneeko, which is completely retarded. I'm like, do you have no discernment, dude? Come on.
Why is everybody giving Sneeko at the time?
I don't understand.
You saw like all those guys in the club like dancing around. It literally looked like hell on earth. Like, I'll be real. Like,
yeah, it was that whole thing was totally. It just looked gay to me. Like, it was like, what the heck is this? And then
bunch of gays and pimps and Mohammedans hanging out together. I couldn't think of a worse thing.
No, but that's the Bay's right wing, dude. If you don't like that, if you don't like that, it's because you're with Bibi. This is what everybody's saying. This is how stupid this is.
I'm still waiting on that $7,000 check. So.
Well, notice as well, our buddies over at World War Now pointed out that Pope Leo has just appointed a rabidly pro-Skittles archbishop as the head of the secretary for the dicastery for clergy. So, bathed in trad, Leo keeping it bathed in trad over there in Rome, making sure that we get traditional gay Roman Catholic priests. We don't want Roman Catholic priests that are anti-traditional, that are going to, if they're going to be gay, and they're at least going to be trad gay, right? They're going to put the pee-pee and the poo-poo the traditional way. They're going to have a traditional conservative top-bottom relationship between the queers. It's not going to be this, newfangled, I don't even know what they're into, but he's going to keep it, and they're only going to speak to each other in pillow talk in Latin. So it's going to be the traditional gay pillow talk. It's based, it's trad, it's all good, don't worry. Keeping it up, keeping it real. This was funny too. This is... Somebody made this as a joke. The first time I watched this, I didn't realize it was AI, and then I had to listen to a couple of the terms, and I was like, oh, that's an AI thing. That's actually pretty funny. So this is what people say they experience when they first turn into this live stream. Then they don't, I guess, I'm so used to the words and the terms and the language, it's just sort of secondhand to me, but apparently this is how they feel when they first tune into this live stream.
It's produced by the modial interaction of magnetoreluctance and capacitive diractance. The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric fam. The lineup consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal Lotus-O deltoid type placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator. Every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible Tremi pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meters. Moreover, whenever fluorescent score motion is required, it may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal depleneration.
Yeah, we try to avoid all the depleneration over here on my channel, so we're keeping it real. Lil Ibuprofen, what's up, dog? Thank you guys for being so generous. A lot of super chats. We'll read some super chats here in a second. What's up, Lil Ibuprofen?
Hey, Jay. I had a really quick question for you. When I go on like theology forums and stuff, I see the term neo-Palamism thrown around a lot, though I don't see any like self-subscribed neo-Palamites. So what are your thoughts on like the term, the people who use the term, and the people they're trying to describe?
Yeah, usually this is Roman Catholics or Protestants that don't know anything about the history of Byzantine theology. Byzantine theology just is Palimism. Orthodox theology is Palimism. So there is no such thing as neo-Palimism. It's just something that I want to say this comes out of Roman Catholic Latin scholarship. Maybe who's the guy that used to write against the energies? Martin. I don't know. He cited in Free Choice and St. Maximus. So I want to say that maybe comes from somebody like that. But no, it's a ridiculous term of ignorance. I mean, it's as dumb as like when Sneeko says that Constantine put the 12 books of the Bible together, which is what he says. It's that dumb. What's up, Wakanda? All right, can't connect as usual. Dan, what's up, Dan? Dan, I'm mute.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Bubba?
I'm doing well.
I've got a Bitcoin question. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, so I was kind of an early adopter. I bought it when it was around 3,000 something. And I got family into it.
I can barely hear you. You bought Bitcoin at 3,000 and you got into it, then you're cutting out. Hello? We lost you, Dan. You're muted again. So call back in, try again. Carter K, what's up? Unmute.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
I had a question related to tag.
Okay.
So I was trying to understand the argument in terms of premises, and I'll just recite it, and you can correct me if I'm getting it correctly.
Okay.
So, premise one would be the existence of knowledge requires a certain kind of coherence in your metaphysics. Premise two would be the Christian metaphysics is sufficient for that coherence and by construction is unique. And then, so the argument would be knowledge exists, therefore the Christian metaphysics is true.
It goes down that line of argumentation, but I wouldn't necessarily immediately bring in metaphysics. I mean, you could keep the argument just in the domain of epistemology if you wanted to, but sure.
Right. But so I guess what I was confused about was for the uniqueness in like the second premise, would coherence be enough, or would
we had this conversation the last time that you called in, and I told you that coherence is not the totality of the argument. We already went through all this. You apparently didn't listen to any of that, and you came back with the exact same question. So refer back to the last time you asked that question. Owen, what's up?
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I know. I guess I really want to just like, the last couple of months, or maybe like 3 months ago, you kind of started saying like, putting out videos towards guys and saying like, you know, I've been, around the time I was 30, I saw a bunch of elections and nothing seemed to change.
No, I said my whole life, not by age 30.
Yeah, so I just turned 30. And I guess I've been like on that Trump chain since I was like 20, since he came down that escalator or whatever. And like since he bombed Iran, like the collapse of, I kind of put my trust in princes, I guess. And I kind of wanted to like thank you for laying a soft landing for younger guys like me as we come to see the same thing you saw when you were 30. That's all, man. Thanks.
Oh yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think as you get older, you realize that politicians are always going to be politicians. So they're never going to not be politicians. So put not your trust in princes and sons of men. If they do something good, That's great. And politicians doing something good is certainly a rare event. So enjoy it when it happens. But um, as we said, to really be influential in politics um, requires billions of dollars. So unless you're a billionaire, I mean, what are you going to do? Start a YouTube channel? Okay, good luck with that. What are you going to do? Change America's mind? Well, doing media is a quick way to learn that you don't change people's mind through media. Media isn't really designed for that. Doesn't mean you can't do good or be influential, but and it's weird because it sounds like I'm saying black pilled stuff when I'm not. What I'm actually saying is it's a way to be free from it. And when you come back freed from it without having unrealistic delusions about what you can actually accomplish, you can actually then accomplish something within reason, right? So I think, over here on this channel, we have realized that, we're not even going to be like, I'll never be as popular as Baby Shark. Baby Shark has been more influential on the world than this channel has, right? Crazy Frog will always beat what we talk about. So you're never going to change the masses. You're never going to, for example, a lot of young dudes get mad at when they learn how women are. They learn female nature. And then they have a rage and a resentment, which produces the incel or produces MGTOW. Well, rather than raging at reality, how about accept reality and adjust accordingly? And that's a lesson that a lot of people can't take. I mean, this is really the root of the trans ideology. I will not conform to what's objective reality. I will make reality. Okay, well, you can take that route, but it ends up being disastrous for the people that take that route. I want to play this clip too, which is, we'll go to Wolfgang, and then I'll play this clip, which David Erhan called my attention to. What's up? Unmute Wolfgang.
Hey, Jay, thanks for having me.
Yo.
Oh, by the way, for Spaces, there's like a bit of a delay, so sometimes people won't be able to hear you as you immediately bring someone up. But anyways, yeah, so I grew up Catholic, and I've been interested in converting to Orthodoxy. There's this Father Moses I watch on YouTube, and he has some pretty good arguments. One that really caught my attention was apostolic succession. And I was just wondering, is there any, nuance against that argument that a Catholic might have? I was talking with my brother about it, and, he's not very deeply versed on theology, but he said, there's going to be an argument against that a Catholic priest could tell you that, it's the Catholics that have true apostolic succession or something. And I was just wondering if it's a bulletproof Orthodox argument or not.
Well, I mean, Roman Catholicism believes that Orthodoxy have the exact same apostolic succession as Rome does.
Okay. But,
so the Orthodox position says that it doesn't matter that you have some mechanical succession. If you depart from the faith, that really doesn't mean anything. So which of those two positions seems to make more sense? Why would God's church be split amongst all these different sects, right? Which is what usually, for example, Roman Catholics argue against Protestantism. But then Roman Catholics turn around with their version of ex opere operato, which admits the very thing that the Protestants believe, which is that there's all these competing sects that have, quote, apostolic succession, but they're all valid apostolic churches from the Roman Catholic view. This leads to the very position of somebody like Sam Shamoon, who says that there's this generic apostolic Christianity that we all participate in, and that means that the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th councils don't matter.
Okay, yeah, this is above my pay grade, I think, but thank you for addressing the question.
All right, well, I'm not sure how to address it without going into the specifics, so I apologize if that wasn't... John, I don't know why I didn't boot you unless you removed yourself. You're welcome to come back. Gage, what's up? My phone is acting kind of weird. You want to unmute? By the way, I know there's a delay. I've had 1,000 people tell me this after 7 years of doing this. That's why I always tell people, when you come up, unmute yourself. What's up, man? If you got, yeah, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Jay? So I've been inquiring into orthodoxy. I'm pretty convinced at this point, but I have a question that I've been kind of using as a test case for the internal consistency. And so I've been looking at Nicaea 2, which I used to have a problem with, but after reading the council itself, and not the abridged version, but the full version, I just want to see if I understand the Orthodox view of how to interpret ecumenical councils correctly. So first of all, with icons specifically, if I understand Nicaea 2 correctly, it is saying that whenever you venerate an icon, you are only passing honor to the prototype that the icon represents. You never pass latria, even if it's an icon of Christ. You're offering latria to Christ, but it's unmediated by the icon. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think that's correct.
Okay, so if that's true, if latria can be offered to Christ just through prayer, how do Protestants not offer latria to Christ in their, churches or prayer services or whatever you want to call them?
I don't understand the question. I mean, they perceive that they do.
But if I can venerate an icon and I, privately or whatever, in church, if I'm offering latria to Christ, I'm offering this worship of the highest kind. Couldn't Protestants do that independently without being in the church and just praying on their own?
Well, we have to worship God the way he directs to be worshiped. So that means being worshiped in the liturgy that he laid down. And Protestants do not worship God the way that he demanded they be worshiped. For example, God laid down that there be an altar with a Eucharist, and no Protestant has an altar with a Eucharist.
And that's my understanding of what it means to actually worship in a specific sense.
No, that is the only way to understand it. It's not your understanding or that's the teaching of the church. So we can't relativize this and say, well, that's our understanding, but it's not the Protestant understanding. It doesn't matter what the Protestant understanding is.
Yeah, I don't mean that.
So again, I'm not trying to be rude, but can you explain? I don't understand your question. You're asking, can they offer latria to Christ without icons? Well, yes, we can, but the problem is that to be anti-icon is ultimately an attack on the incarnation. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to reject icons. I mean, I used to have a problem with them, but after reading Nicaea 2's justification for it, I'm convinced of it now. Mm-hmm. But now I'm just confused at what specifically latria means.
It means worship. It means the worship due to God, right? So I honor my parents. I don't honor my parents to the same degree as I honor God. So there's a deference to authority, but God is in a special category because he's the ultimate authority. He's the uncreated God. He gets the full worship of latria due to him as our creator, right? So I honor God, but I also honor the king, and I also honor my parents. I don't honor them all with the same degree of honor.
So there's different, I'm just going to...
Yes, there's difference. That's the difference between latria
that you can offer to Christ.
There's difference. Say what?
Are there different tiers or different degrees?
No, Christ is God. So Christ is God. Christ gets the worship that's due to God.
Even if it's impartial. I mean, I guess I'm trying to understand if I can venerate an icon outside of a liturgical context, mm-hmm. and I am offering latria to Christ directly, how could a Protestant not do that if they're just praying on their own?
Again, I don't. The question doesn't make sense. I don't get it. The fact that they believe that they're doing that has nothing to do with whether or not it's worshiping God the right way. So it's almost like you're making the worship all subjective, like it's just from our perspective. If we're sincere and we have worship of Christ, well, that's great. I'm glad that you're sincere, but again, we have to worship God the way He lays down, not the way that we subjectively want it to be. So again, help me understand. I don't understand what your objection even is. I'm not being a dick. I really just don't understand.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I guess, so if latria is offered to Christ just through the liturgy, how can venerating an icon?
No, it's not just through the liturgy. We worship Christ in many ways, but the culmination of worship is the divine liturgy. So to say, well, I'm not going to go to the divine liturgy or believe any of that stuff, but I will have an icon at home, or I will honor Jesus through the Bible. It's an inconsistent position. You can't have it both ways. You don't get to make up how you worship or honor Christ. I mean, that'd be like saying, well, why can't I make up my own liturgy in the basement and still honor Christ, even though it's not at the Orthodox Church? I'm doing it my way. Well, for example, in Orthodox canon law, you can't offer the Eucharist unless an Orthodox bishop gives you permission to do so. So it's not just a matter of your intention. You have to do it the way God says to do it.
Okay. I guess I'll have to think about it more.
Are you asking, are you simply asking, can Protestants legitimately worship Christ without icons? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm asking if Protestants can legitimately worship Christ at all.
I mean, again, we judge these things on the basis of the public confession. We don't judge individuals' hearts. We don't know that. We don't have access to that. At the end of the world, God's going to judge people's motives in their hearts. We don't know that. All we can say is that the public profession of Protestantism as a belief system is false, and therefore it does not offer acceptable worship to God. You notice Paul says, offered to God acceptable sacrifice and worship, not just anything. If you think about Cain and Abel, right? Both of them offered to God, but did God accept Cain's offer?
No, he didn't.
Right. So you can't do it your own way. If you look at Nadab and Abihu, they offered their own liturgical celebration in Leviticus, I think 11. Did God accept Nadab and Abihu's made up incense offering?
No.
Right. So we have to worship God the way He wants to be worshiped. And the fact that you can have a private devotion doesn't cancel out the duty that you have to the corporate public worship. But it was a great question. I think I understood it better now. Orthodox Yagami.
Hey Jay, how you doing?
What's up?
I was just received into the church on the fourth feast of Theophany after a pretty long catechism, and I'm now really trying to take my scriptural understanding to sort of the next level. Even when I was sort of a lukewarm Protestant, I frankly it didn't interest me all that much. It was becoming Orthodox that made me a lot more interested.
Okay.
And my Protestant family overall, we sort of discuss things, and they're pretty open to my conversion and all. But I wanted to sort of bounce some things off of you with sola scriptura, and some things that, from my perspective, I just don't see Orthodox people talking about them, but they seem like some pretty problematic things for the position.
Okay, what?
And the main one I was thinking of is the fact that we have a Gospel of Luke. When what my family sort of keeps bringing up is, they think after the life of the apostles that the apostolic ministry, there was something unique, for example, with Acts 15, that's something the apostles could do. That's a one-time event. But, for me, how can we have the Gospel of Luke when Luke is not, one of the 12, or he was not a disciple of Christ. He did not know Christ, but his gospel is obviously authentic, and all supposed Christians.
Okay, well, the only way that we know any of the Gospels is by tradition. So
Yeah.
they're missing the big picture here. It's like you're assuming that everybody just sort of knew that, oh, these are the four Gospels. No, there was a lot of competing texts. People disagreed for centuries over what the Gospels were. So I would reframe the question and say it's not even a question just of Luke. I mean, that's a fine example to use, but it's all of them. How do you know that Matthew, the disciple of Christ, wrote Matthew's Gospel? You don't know that from the textual evidence itself, right? And most of the evangelical scholars will admit this when you go and read them. If you read Lee McDonald or F.F. Bruce, Canon of Scripture, they'll admit, yeah, of course we have to look at the tradition to know that these are the valid, texts written by this guy or that guy. Okay, well, then tradition's necessary for divine revelation even. What's up, man? Mike, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's going on, man?
Hey.
So, I just wanted to get your take on something. I remember right after we bombed Iran, and the New York Times did a piece, I think it was during that time, a piece on Fuentes. I remember hearing, I think it was from E. Michael Jones, that it seemed like they were trying to possibly groom Fuentes into a tiny mustache man-esque figure, implying that, his rhetoric and movement, may have some, use in some geopolitical globalist scheme. I don't know. I just wondered what you thought about that.
I don't know. I mean, there's no way to know without some sort of evidence or proof of that. Otherwise, we're just speculating. And the problem with the speculation, which, everybody's going to speculate, it's annoying to me when people do that to me and they assume that, well, the only way you could have worked with Alex Jones is because you're a Fed, or the only way you could have been on this podcast or Tucker would have had you on that episode is because you're a CIA or you're a Mossad or you're KGB. The only reason you would get invited to a thing in Russia is because you work for Russia. It's just so low tier and retarded that it really gets old. And what happens is that eventually you just kind of there's nothing really to be gained from sitting here and speculating all day. And all these same questions came about 10 years ago when it was, is Richard Spencer a Fed? Richard Spencer has this money and he's this and that. And what did I do? I debated Richard Spencer, put my positions out. Where's Richard Spencer now? Isn't he like a Democrat? So time will tell, ultimately, whether Nick Fuentes is sincere in his political journey. Like I said on the last night or the night before his live stream, I wish the best for all these people. As you guys notice, whether it was me debating JF 10 years ago, Richard Spencer 10 years ago, Nick Fuentes 10 years ago, I've had the exact same message, the exact same positions for the most part to everybody consistently. And I want those people I want everybody to do well. So if you want to sit around and debate who's a Fed all day, who knows? Who knows? Blue, what's up? Well, I am glad to see that Nick was admitting that the Vatican doesn't have his positions. What's up, man?
Is there a good connection, Jake?
I guess. What's up?
Shit, I can't hear nothing. I'll try again later. Hello?
Listen, guys, I appreciate, I'm not talking about that guy, but I see a lot of people in the chat. It's always the same people. Okay. And I'm not mad at you guys, but if you call in on every live stream, can you just please give some other people a chance to call in and ask questions? Because it ends up always being somebody obsessed with tag or somebody obsessed with some super intricate Spurg issue, and no one else who disagrees ever gets to call in. So please don't ask me your catechumen questions. I don't mind the theology questions, but I don't want to talk about your fasting. I don't want to talk about your spiritual problems. I don't want to talk about your obsession over some obscure thing in tag that's immediately going to make 500 people leave. So again, please don't ask me the same tag questions. If you got a new question, I welcome it. If you've called in on every stream, please don't call in. I don't need the same 3 ortho bros calling on every frickin' stream I do. It's super annoying, man. Let some other people ask some questions. Go take a break. Go for a walk. Go to the gym. Go read a book. And then come back in a couple weeks. I can't even see the name. Cole, what's up? I'm not hating on Ortho Bros. I love the Ortho Bros. It's just the spurgy, obsessive tag stuff drives me insane. What's up, Cole? Unmute.
Hey, I'm a inquirer, and I don't really have too much invested in this type of stuff, but I have a friend who was a little bit interested too, and like interested in the Orthodox faith, and they were wondering like what the Orthodox position was on near-death experiences and like people claiming that they've
Yeah, it would be the same as
somewhere.
what we said at the beginning when we were talking about the supposed conversion of the Jewish guy. So we would have a skeptical, reserved attitude about any mystical experiences, not because we don't think they can happen, but because they're so common to delude people and people fall into pre-lest. So we would have the same principle at work here for the supposed near-death experiences and all the claims of, because a lot of times if you notice, if you listen to some of those people, it ends up being new age stuff. They end up promoting some weird, oh, I saw myself from my previous life, and they push, reincarnation or who knows what. Ashley, what's up? So I'm looking for people who have not seen before, okay? If I recognize your name, I'm probably not gonna go. I'm gonna go to people that I don't recognize. Ashley, what's up? I'm mute. Ashley, I'm mute. You waited all that time and you don't want to talk? Oh, man. I think we got to figure out a different way to do this because this just doesn't seem sustainable. Irish, what's up? Irish man? Irish man, what's up?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so I am a King James Bible believing Christian, and feel that the Catholic Church and Orthodoxy is completely apostate. So I was talking with Andrew Wilson a couple nights ago, and he mentioned or claimed that the Catholic Church is responsible for the Bible. And I mean, I don't know where people get that nonsense.
Okay, who do you think collected those books together into the Bible?
Well, all of the like Textus Receptus manuscripts.
Who do you think had the Textus Receptus before King James?
Pardon me?
Who had the received text before the King James?
Well, I mean, as far as
what tradition, what lineage had the received text? Do you know?
Yeah, they were all in Antioch, is where all of those manuscripts wound up.
It's the ecumenical patriarchal text. It's the Orthodox patriarch's text. So you didn't even know that? So we preserved the thing that you think is the infallible word of God for the New Testament, right? You didn't know that?
The Catholic Church did?
The Orthodox Church.
Okay, so but maybe I'm not clear on what you mean when you say the Orthodox.
The received text, okay, is the Orthodox patriarchal text. The Patriarch of Constantinople, for example, in the year 1000, that's who was using and preserving that received text that you think King James put into English. Did you know that?
Well, I mean, I know that Darius Erasmus is who.
You don't even know what I'm talking about. It's called the Byzantine text. You don't know that? So you have no idea what you're talking about.
I do have an idea of what I'm
No,
talking
you don't,
about.
because you're talking about Erasmus, which is this is like the Enlightenment Reformation period. I'm talking about the 1100s, the 900s.
Sure. So, but this is where I'm saying.
Okay. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. This is too stupid. I'm sorry, I can't do it. You have no idea what you're talking about. What's up? I have to move on or else I will lose patience. So people, be patient, be patient. How can you talk to someone with no knowledge at all of what he's referring to, not knowing that the received text is the Byzantine text? There's no, I can't give every low IQ caller an entire history of Western civilization and history of Byzantium. I can't do that. If you want to present an argument and disagree, we can do that. But don't expect me, People in the chat, what are you patient? Because I can't lecture an ignorant person on the entire history of Byzantium. If a person doesn't know basic ideas and basic placement in history, I mean, Erasmus has nothing to do with what happened in the 1100s, which is what I asked him. Nichols, what's up?
Sorry, is that me?
I don't know. Who are you?
Nicholas. Sorry.
Well, okay, Nicholas.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I've never called in before. I'm a big fan of Andrew Wilson. I was actually calling because I was listening to a Jim Bob debate earlier today, and the debate was whether God was rational or not. I don't know how old it was. I think it was pretty recent. Is belief in God rational? My question is after you go through that argument of rationality, and you show these people that, much like Jim Bob did, that if you believe in truth, then the belief in God has to be rational. Is basically the line that he went. Is how do you get that then to the God of the Bible, Jesus and the Holy Spirit?
So I have a whole talk on that. It's too much to repeat. And one question is called From Tag to Trinity. So you'll have to go watch that talk. There's no way I can just, for every single person who has the exact same question, repeat the same answer for 2 hours. James, what's up? If you have a disagreement, feel
what's
free.
up, Jay?
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Jay. I just want to say it's very nice talking to you. Last time I spoke to you, I didn't really say or express my sentiment of like how much I look up to you in terms of the information you give online.
Okay, now here comes the part where you're ready to take me out.
Okay. It's going to be not an ecumenical argument, but I would like to posit maybe an interesting or different argument against it. I don't know your experience with spirituality, Jay, but last week has been like a really crazy week. I would say in a more Jungian, I guess, idea.
Yeah, you're joking.
Like
you're trolling.
Confronting your own shadow. And,
you're trolling. You're joking.
Really having this supernatural experience with the devil.
Uh-huh.
And
he's trolling. What's up? Who's next? Jones? Yeah, my patience is just... I also haven't eaten, so I've had to, eat a couple snacks. So as you guys know, my patience will probably be running thin. Moises, what's up? I'm mute.
Hey.
Hey.
I knew that guy was trolling.
Okay.
First time caller. I have a question as an inquirer, man. I understand that in Orthodoxy you guys pray for people in hell. How does that work with Lazarus and this rich man and the poor man story where they say there's a great chasm that nobody can
We don't
breach?
know who's in hell. We're not praying for people in hell. We're praying for the dead, which is what they do in the deuterocanonical texts. What's up, Release? Release the dire files. Uh-oh. I'm exposed. What's up, man? Expose me.
What's your opinion on the penguin? What's its epistemology for choosing?
Yeah, it's funny, dude. Super funny. What? That's all you got? That's all you have? You can't troll better than that? So, all you got's breathing. Good job, dude. There we go. Super high tier troll right there. What's the epistemology of the penguin? Okay, I'm not going to these people. Okay, this dude's getting blocked. Literally just asked the Pakistani dude not to call in with the exact same question, and it's exactly what he did. So, we're on a roll tonight, dude. This is like high tier. What's up, Bonzo? See, y'all get mad at me if I'm too sassy, but then you secretly want me sassy. So, I feel like my relationship to the audience, I'm getting nagged all the time. You guys are gaming me. What's up, man?
Hey Jay, how you doing, man?
My patience is being tested.
Yeah, I can tell. I just had a quick question for you.
It's
More of
pronounced
just wanted to
quotient.
ask-
It's pronounced
What's that?
quotient.
What's that?
It's pronounced quotient.
Question. I got a question for you, homie.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really interested in orthodoxy, thanks to you, Jim, Bob, Andrew, stuff like that. But I live in rural Southwest Virginia. We've been going to a Baptist church for about 5 years, and there's not an Eastern Orthodox church near us. If you were in my position, would you continue to go to a Baptist church until circumstances change?
No, you cannot. If you become Orthodox, you cannot remain in Protestant worship. So the answer is no, unfortunately. So you can pray the prayers at home. Zakun, what's up? By the way, let me play this clip that I went to play from David Urhan, our good friend. David has a point here with this, which, again, vindicates what we've been saying for the last several years. Now, remember, when I talked about this, what did all of the fake right-wingers do? They called me out. They attacked me. They said, oh, if you don't like Islam, it's because you're with Netanyahu. Well, I told you guys that it's Islam and Judaism versus Christianity. And this is what they admit here at WEF. Listen.
Anti-Semitism, but we are facing this all over the world. So I would like to hear what is your perspective on this?
The 7th of October has created turbulence in the whole world, a tremendous rise of anti-Semitism, organized, state-sponsored, in many instances, in universities, on the streets, and a rise of 500%, maybe some instances to 1,000% of anti-Semitic acts. And there has also been a reaction of Europe. I think the rise of the extreme right in many European countries is a response to the insecurity felt by the old Europeans, so-called old Europeans, regarding the new immigrants who came from the Middle East.
In other words, Christians in Europe.
So I think that fighting Islamophobia and anti-Semitism is an interest of both religions and both communities.
As we say, Islam is the broom of Judaism. What's up, Zakuns?
Hello. I'm calling in from Australia. Can you hear me all right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I wanted to discuss atheism, and you got that in the title, so I thought I'd pop in. I'm not an atheist, but I've been listening to a lot of debates online, including yours. And the arguments for Christianity seem dumb most of the time, but maybe I'm the dumb one. So I'm going to pretend to be an atheist to see if I am the dumb one. So
okay.
My opening statement would be something about God being a human invention, I guess.
Okay. Would you say that you are relying on logic and reasoning instead of, revelation or something like that? Is that why you would say that it's irrational?
Revelation.
In other words, Christians
yes,
rely on revelation, and would you say that you're arguing from the standpoint of rationality and logic?
Yes, I'm presupposing those things. Yeah.
Okay. And what is logic?
Kind of everyone knows what it is, but can't really define it.
You think that's a good thing to rest your argument on? Just saying, well, everybody knows what it is. There's no definition.
Well, I mean, everyone knows what a tree is, but nobody can
You don't think
exactly
we can-
define what a tree is.
You don't think we can define what a tree is?
Well, I mean, okay, maybe a better example is, what's a chair? Like, is a rock a chair? You can sit on it, right?
Well, the fact that there's ambiguity in some words doesn't mean that we can't define any objects in the world. So, but I mean, this is even worse for your case because your argument against theism is now resting on something that you admit can't really be defined. So what if I say, okay, well, God's existence is also like that. We can't really define God, but everybody knows there is a God.
Well,
if you admit that that's a bad line of argument, then you're admitting your line of argument's bad. All right, look, man, appreciate it. Think about it. Come back. We'll talk to you again next time. Judah, what's up? So that's atheism for you. We can't define objects in the world, trees. We don't know, but Christianity is irrational. Judah, what's up? You want to unmute, man? Judah, you want to unmute? What's up? All right, guess not. Volturu. And then Rocco. Volturo and then Rocco.
Hey, what's up, Jay? You hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
I was having a conversation with one of my friends who's an atheist, and we were talking about justifying morality. He asked me a question. I just didn't know how to answer it, so maybe you could give me a better answer, also just for myself. Because I was pointing to God and saying, well, God is the justification for where we get our moral standard. And then he asked me, well, how do you decide what is justification? Like basically asking me to define justification. And to be honest, I couldn't really define it. So do you maybe have an answer for that kind of question?
I mean, typically we were referring to justified true belief in the classical sense. So, in other words, giving an account for the knowledge, giving a, does the knowledge have, predictive qualities? Does it work in the world? Is it coherent with the other beliefs that we have? Is it true or is it false? And then there's other later qualifiers that philosophers tack on, like the Gettier problem, whatever, which we can go into that, but usually you're not dealing with an atheist that's that sophisticated, but that's typically what we mean by justification is justified true belief.
Is there anything I could maybe use as an example to demonstrate that? Because I feel like it's a concept that I myself might be able to wrap my head around, but it might be harder for my atheist friend to kind of understand that.
Well, I mean, really, we just mean good reasons for our beliefs and that they have to be coherent. And I wouldn't think that's very controversial. If an atheist wants to dispute that, I mean, then he's in an even worse position because,
yeah.
I mean, okay, so our beliefs don't have to have good reasons behind them and they don't have to be rational and coherent, right? So, so that's the route I would take that. But I mean, yeah, just look up basic, we've got a lot of basic talks on what justification is on my channel. Jazba, what's up? And then theological truth. Go ahead. Josb. JOSB. Unmute. Hey.
Hey. I have a friend, and I'm trying to get him to understand the Eucharist. And can you hear me all right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to get him to understand the Eucharist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using John 6 to try to, but he can't understand it, and he keeps thinking it's a symbol, just a symbol, it's a metaphor, and he uses the other lines of the Bible around it to say, no, you just need, it's just a symbol, and I'm using Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, everybody's sources on this, but how do you think I could convince him? What would you use?
I mean, if he's not going to listen to John 6, I would ask him something like, well, why would a mere symbol lead to the possibility of someone's death, right? If you read, when Paul talks to the Corinthians, he warns them of death for doing this in the wrong way. And that seems like a pretty stiff penalty for something that's a mere symbol. And by the way, why would we, in the New Testament, when Jesus brings the realities of the sacraments, why would we go back to a symbolic view, which is the Old Testament view, right? So in the Old Testament, the sacraments, the ceremonies are symbolic, looking forward to the fulfillment, to the reality that the New Testament sacraments would bring. Why then would we have just another layer of symbol?
Right.
I mean, for example, Jesus calls baptism, the New Testament calls baptism a new birth. It calls it the washing of the laver of regeneration in Titus 3. So baptism is multiple times in the New Testament said to be a reality, not a mere symbol. Why would we then take the Eucharist to be a mere symbol and not a reality?
Right. I've been trying to confront him on, because he thinks that the church went bad after the apostles died.
Okay, well, that's first of all, how do we know that, and on what basis? That's an assertion. So, okay, how? In what sense? Where's the proof of that?
Right, exactly. And then I said, well, okay, then what's good about your church? Well, Joseph Smith found out the new church, and this is the good church.
No,
well,
so you're talking to a Mormon. No, you're wasting your time.
Change?
You're wasting your time arguing scripture with a Mormon. You have to go to critiquing Mormonism from the fact that Joseph Smith's an obvious con man. Go watch my Mormon videos to refute that. Theology, what's up? I thought you were talking like a Protestant. Theology, unmute.
Hello?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right?
Here we go. Whenever I hear that, I know that something disastrous.
No, I'm not an atheist.
But it doesn't have to be an atheist to have a disaster coming. What's up? So here's the thing.
So when it comes to the idea of debating, right, would you debate inspiring philosophy on evolution?
We tried to set that up 5 years ago, and it fell through. They didn't want to do it because I wouldn't promise to be nice. And I said, that's gay. I'm not promising that.
So when you talk about underdetermination, I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
You're trolling. What does that have to do with asking me about IP?
Because the debate was about evolution, and you would hold to underdetermination of data, right? So how would that
That's
work?
not a position. That's just a way to critique some statements within assessing evidence. So you don't even
Yeah,
you
so
don't
I'm
know
asking how that would work.
Well, you're not even apparently familiar with what it means. Do you know what it means?
Yeah, it's saying that raw data can't be used to prove a paradigm because multiple worldviews can interpret the data equally as reliably or whatever.
Right. So it's not my position that is under determination of data. It's a position. It's an argument that everybody has that position.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
That's not what you said. You said it's a position that I hold. It's not a position.
I meant like it's an argument that you would run. So what would be the counter theories? And what if they hold to ideas of like theoretical virtues? How would you go about that?
What would theoretical virtues have to do with evolution?
Well, he would probably say that to counter underdetermination, he would say that evolution is the simpler theory. It's more parsimonious. He would just be using theoretical virtues to show why this theory would be better than yours.
Okay, well, that rests on a metaphysical assumption that we don't know is necessarily true. So just because something's simpler, there's plenty of situations where things that are more complex are actually the case. So appealing to a principle like that would lead to a more presuppositional debate.
Okay, that's actually pretty solid. Thanks, Jay. Good job, bud.
Sam. Sam. Jeffrey. Damani became a member. What's up? Ortho Bro, $10. The dual setup cam with books. That's how we rolling up in here for a phone. Yeah, exactly. We got dual cameras, but we got this ghetto thing right here. Yeah, we'll get all this rolling though. We'll get it all fixed up. It just takes some time. You know what I'm saying? It took me freaking, I don't know, a couple hours to set up the whole new camera thing, but still didn't get it right. I still got to get the settings and the cameras are computers now, dude. It's like a whole other thing to do a camera. Jeffrey, what's up? Unmute. Man. Jeffrey Jennings, do you want to talk? Last chance. All right. Well, sorry you waited too long. Call back in if you want. Mickey, what's up? Mickey, you want to unmute? To whoever's yapping in the chat, call in on the Twitter space. Otherwise, you about to get booted. We don't care about your yapping nonsense. Unmute, dude. Mickey, unmute.
Hi, Jay. Do you hear me?
Barely. What's up?
Yeah, I'm first time asking questions. So
Okay.
I have a question about tag. Can I ask it or?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So why is Orthodox theology most compatible with tag?
Again, I have a talk on this. It's called From Tag to Trend. I think people are just calling in now to mess with me over this question. I've answered this 50 times to go watch the talk. So, Jeffrey, you want to try again? Okay, if Sean doesn't, I'm just going to boot this guy because I don't even know what's going on in the chat. But if the dude is having a spaz out, where I don't even see Sean in the chat. What's up?
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to say hi to my mother, Rachel Wilson. I'm in the hell because of the sins of my parents, Rachel Wilson and Andrew Wilson.
So we're going full tard today. Where did all the tards come from today? How did we get this army of tards in here today? People can't even talk. Adam, what's up, man?
Hey Jay, I got a question for you. Do you hold the belief that the apostles or disciples were each given specific teachings by Jesus?
I mean, I think they all had the same gospel message to share in the different bishoprics that they set up, but certainly Paul, for example, had certain theology knowledge that Peter says he didn't have. He says Paul, for example, has written difficult epistles and has a lot of deep theological knowledge, and apparently Peter didn't have that degree of knowledge. But when it comes to the basic deposit of faith, they all have the same deposit of faith.
I got you. So now, would this be the reasoning for all the minority Christian sects that are operating, I guess, as Christians? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The rationale, like, why were all those, like the Druids, what would be the reason for them?
The Druids?
Yeah. The Druze.
The Druze. Druze aren't Christians. I have no idea what you're talking about. Boz, what's up?
Hey there.
Mm-hmm.
I have some questions about the fundamental, like understanding how logic works with God.
Okay.
Because you've probably heard, can God create a boulder that he cannot push? You know, that's kind of a, you've definitely heard that one. But how...
So who is not trolling today? That's the real challenge today. Rocco, what's up? Rocco, what's up? You're so
Hey Jay, how you doing?
Uh-huh.
I have a question, then I have an argument against you.
Go for it.
So my question is, I admire the skill of you. You were able to refer back to concepts and quotes from nonfiction that you read. I'm just asking personally, how do you...
From nonfiction?
Kind of exercise that?
I have a large head.
All right, and then my argument is, first of all, you said that the Catholic Church is infiltrated by LGTV.
LGTV, yes. LGBTQ? What are you talking about, LGTV? LGTVs are cheap Walmart TVs. They're not infiltrating Walmart. I mean, infiltrate the Vatican. What are you talking about?
Or like the Skittles movement.
Uh-huh, yeah. I mean, you tell me. You don't think the Vatican is full of Skittles people?
Well, Tony Soprano's
okay,
homophobic, so that wouldn't make sense.
So we're on a roll today, man. It's some really funny people today. Somebody must have shared the thing in some chat group somewhere, like go troll Dyer, ask him like just retarded questions, which is fine with me because it just ends up being entertainment. So have fun. What's up, man? Vic, unmute. If you want to support the stream, you can do so via super chats. Be sure and super chat through Streamlabs. What's up, man?
How you doing, Mr. Gay? This question just came up a while ago. So earlier, I know you were like saying that you're like bored of maybe this X thing, or like maybe people aren't giving like the most interesting debates. I was gonna say, if you go on YouTube, there's this crazy Reformed Protestant dude, and like his name is a Messenger of Truth. If you go on his link, his Discord is like full of crazy Protestants, and you can probably go in there and probably like have a fun time just toying.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, how about one of you guys can share the link in there? I'm not going in there, but you guys feel free to share it in there. We'll get some crazies up in. We're full of crazies already. Leon. Howdy, stranger. Want some wares? What's up, Leon?
Jay, what's up, big dog?
Hey.
My wife has a question for you that she's going to ask you.
Oh, God, here we go. Lord help me.
Jay, please don't be mean. This is actually genuine. I'm scared that you're going to yell at me.
I'm just going to make fun of you, and then Leon's going to try to kill me.
No, please don't. We appreciate, everything that you've put out. It's helping us. I don't consume as much of your content as my husband does. But anyway, we are inquiring at the Orthodox Church where we are. And I'm a lifelong evangelical, and he has been for about 3 years. Anyway, I'm wondering what kept you a catechumen in the Orthodox Church for so long. I think that he mentioned you were a catechumen for a long time. And so I was wondering, how that was for you.
I mean, I had a lot of Roman Catholic baggage, and it took me about 8 or 10 years to flush all that out.
What finally, caused you to declare orthodoxy?
Really, it was just working through all the specific issues. I mean, for me, there was a lot of Augustinian and sort of Thomistic stuff that I had to work through. And I had some other, personal issues that happened in my life that changed. And so it wasn't like just ideological issues. It was kind of a combination of things. So, I mean, I wish I could give you a more specific thing, but I mean, what are the things that are holding you guys up?
Well, I wouldn't say I have holdups. I'm actually falling more in love with the Orthodox Church as time goes on. I've been a lifelong evangelical, whole family and everything, so we're catching, a lot of flack, a lot of commentary that's not necessarily warranted, which is fine. That's okay, God's grace. But my husband is pretty much all in. You kind of inspired him.
Cool.
So,
well, yeah, just keep attending the liturgy is the main thing, and I think you will progress in the right direction. That's ended up, kind of being for me what was the long haul was getting just sort of imbibed in the whole ethos. Holly, what's up? Then we'll go to J-Rock. If I recognize you, I'm not going to you today. Unless you got something really sharp to say. Otherwise, don't. If you called in a million times, I'm not going to you. Holly, what's up? I'm you.
Hey, Jay. So I'm a Protestant inquiring in Orthodoxy, and I have a question about sola scriptura.
Okay.
So I'm trying to understand what the Orthodox view is, like on authority. Like, do you consider like councils in the church to be an infallible source of authority as well?
Yes.
Okay, but would you agree that like Scripture is ontologically unique?
Yeah, I think divine revelation, whether oral or written, has a primacy, and even the councils themselves, when they go to cite or prove a doctrine, usually they go to Scripture first. They'll have arguments from tradition, arguments from logic, arguments from the other church fathers. Those are kind of lower down the tiers, and usually Scripture is given a place of primacy. But when it comes to, error or non-error, we would say that, for example, the Council of Nicaea does not teach errors. So it's inerrant like the Scriptures, but is not necessarily identical to the Scriptures.
Okay. Okay.
And that's because Paul, for example, says that his oral teaching is the Word of God just as much as the written texts are. Peter says his preaching is the Word of God. So we can't restrict it to the written texts. But that's a great question. J-Rock, what's up? J-Rock, unmute. Jones, what's up? Unmute.
Jay, what's your problem, Jay? I call in and I say nice things about you, and you say I'm trolling. What's the deal, man?
Who's next?
I say nice things, and
True, what's up? True patristic path. Uh-oh.
Hey Jay, what's up, brother? I had a quick question. What's the distinction between St. John of Damascus saying that the difference between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit is that the Father is the unbegotten, the Son is the only begotten, and the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father versus persona et relatio? I'm getting confused on this, and I would like your clarification.
Right. So what John Damascus is talking about is what the Cappadocians mean by relations of origin. And that is not the same thing as person is relation.
Do you mind elaborating a little bit, Jay? I apologize for my
right. So if you read Vladimir Lossky's famous essay, Procession of the Holy Spirit in Orthodox Theological Doctrine, which is public, it explains that a person is a subject, a relation is a predicate. So it's a difference, first of all, grammatically between predicate and subject. You understand how sentences work, that a subject is like J, right? A relation is like son, okay? So a relation is something that I bear to some other thing, but I'm not merely a relation, okay? I'm a specific subject, and this is a distinction between nature and person, right? So in the Trinity, there's three subjects, and there's one shared essence. So likewise, in terms of the difference between medieval Latin Trinitarian theology and Orthodox Trinitarian theology, when John Damascus or the Cappadocians talk about the relations that the persons have in the triad, it's a relation to the origin, namely the person of the Father. So the Father is the unoriginate one, but he's the origin of the Son and the Spirit. And the Son has a sonship relationship, a generation relationship to the Father, while the Spirit has a preceding relationship to the Father. So relations of origin is what the Cappadocians are talking about, and that's really not even controversial in any Cappadocian scholar that you read. But in the medieval Latin theology, because of the collapsing of nature and person, and because of the absolute divine simplicity view that Aquinas and others have, they had an issue with trying to explain how there's a real difference between these persons within an absolutely simple essence. And so they looked for things like relations of opposition and these other ideas, or saying that the relation just is the person, the Son just is the relationship that he has to the Father. That's not what a subject is. There's all kinds of relations that I have, but that's not what I am. Those are just facts about me, or they're things that describe me. They don't say who the subject is in terms of the person or the agency.
Right. Well, that totally answers my question. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yes. And if you read Lossky's essay, that's everything that he says. Austin, what's up? It's also, I think, misunderstanding the difference between the is of identity and the is of predication, right? Can you say Jay is the son of Bob? Yes, but that's, right, an is of predication, right? I am not just son of Bob, or the relation is not my personhood. This is why it's really silly. Austin, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I had a question on the formation of liturgy. A lot of Protestants, like family members, have a trouble with that because they don't see it in the New Testament. And I was wondering how, so they go to 1 Corinthians a lot, like 14:26, when Paul's saying, like, when you come together, everyone has a psalm, a doctrine, a tongue, a revelation, and stuff like that. It seems to describe a more like extemporaneous type of low church Protestant service is how they interpret that.
Well, that's picking and choosing. That's picking and choosing the passages that they want to focus on. So first of all, during the period when there's ongoing new apostolic revelation, it's not going to be identically the same worship as it is nowadays. And that's because there's still public divine revelation. You still have prophets in the book of Acts. We don't live in that era anymore. And so now that the canon is closed, now that there is an established pattern of worship that the apostles did lay down, and by the way, within the Orthodox Church, there are changeable psalms and songs. So that even still can fit into the Pauline pattern of worship. But the argument is specifically that if God cares so much about his worship, as he obviously does, why was there not a worship service in the New Testament? So that's what the argument actually is. The argument isn't that you have to try to piece together out of Paul's letters a worship service. There isn't one. It's an apostolic tradition. That's the point. Samuel, what's up? Sam, what's up? I'm mute.
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm a fan of the show. This is my first time calling in. I got a lot of stuff I disagree with you about. I don't have a lot of time today, so I'm just going to do one thing.
Okay.
So you've repeatedly said this, and it really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
You say that you believe that there exists today a group of people who are the Jews of the Bible. And if you just give me 30 seconds, I'll give you the argument, which it's about 15 years old now. The first I've heard about it was a guy named Dr. Yan Wong. He works with Richard Dawkins.
Okay.
But anyway, he came up with this.
Okay. Well, if Yan Wong said it, I need to get to concede. So if it's listen, two rights don't make a Wong. Okay. Are you joking or are you being serious?
I'm serious. You'll see I'm being serious in a second. Just give me 30 seconds.
I'm not trying to be. I'll give you the 30 seconds, but it's like it's already absurd on the outset of it because number one, I'm going to listen to the 2,000 years of the Church Fathers' teachings, and they totally disagree with this. So, why do you think I'm even going to hear this argument?
Because it's irrefutable.
Why do you? I mean, do you really think that you've figured this out? And that you're wiser than 2,000 years of patristic teaching? Like, this is the arrogance of Protestants. You guys are so arrogant. Like, why would you not even just consider that you're maybe wrong about something fundamental?
Well, just humor me. Give me
30
seconds
go for
to
it.
Just say it. And then
Go for it.
You're like, that's crazy. Get out of here. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay. So the basic argument is you have two parents. I have two parents. Okay. We have a 50% chance. If one of them's Jewish, then we're Jewish, right? We have 4 grandparents. Okay, we got a 25% chance one of them's Jewish. So this doubles every generation. We got 64 great-great-great-grandparents. So if only one of those 64 people is Jewish, we're Jewish.
All right, this is too stupid. This is so stupid. This is not even worth. This is what we're dealing with the people that are the opposition. They're so stupid, man. Oh my gosh. Richard, what's up? It's not even worth replying to. Richard, what's up?
Can you hear me, Jay?
Uh-huh.
Oh, peace of Jesus Christ be with you, brother. So
What?
I'm a Christian.
What did you say?
It was just like, peace of Jesus Christ be with you.
Okay. Go ahead.
My mic is kind of bad.
That's all right.
So, so I'm a Christian. So, I don't know if it is TOS friendly. So if I'm like one day, like some robber or somebody just murdered me, right? And is there going to be a delay, or like do we believe in some kind of a temporal delay between the separation of the body and the soul and a person meeting Jesus Christ?
Well, I mean, there's an immediate judgment, so to speak, but then there is, we believe, a life of the soul after death. And you could read Father Seraphim Rose's book on that. Z Leonard, what's up?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
I have an objection against objective morality.
Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so how do you know what's objectively right and wrong?
Divine revelation in the 10 Commandments.
Okay, and how do you know that that is the correct revelation?
Because the other revelations or claims immediately destroy the possibility of knowledge by being fundamentally incoherent.
Okay, but why does there have to be revelation? Why can't there'd just be no revelation.
Because it would all then be finite empirical beings coming to finite conclusions, and nothing could ever achieve universality.
Well, but I think that objective morality can be grounded in instincts such as like evolutionary instincts, caring for
Yeah, well, that
others,
wouldn't be grounding. That would be
their
a
health, and
that would be a story. That would not be epistemic grounding. That would be telling a story.
yeah, but you don't have to believe in the Bible to know that murder is wrong.
Yeah, but that's not what the argument is, because we could agree with you that you can have a moral sense of something being wrong, but the question is, why is it wrong, and what's the epistemic justification for saying it's wrong?
Okay, but if we already know it's wrong, why do we need
Again,
revelation for it?
you're equivocating on no. You believe that it's wrong, but why should we think it's wrong? What's the epistemic justification for saying it's wrong? Do you understand what that question's asking?
Yeah, I understand it, but I think that there's no need for rational
So you
justification for instincts which are by definition irrational.
okay? Then it's not actually wrong, right? So nothing's actually wrong.
Yeah, in that sense, yeah.
Okay, so is it also the case that nothing is true?
You mean truth outside of morality?
Truth in any sense, right? Because if we're at the point where there's no universal moral claims, then there's also no universal claims at all, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There can be objective truth without objective moral truth.
Oh, now wait a minute. So how do we get to objective truth? Truth is a value, right?
Yeah, but
But
morality.
you said values aren't values instincts, so wouldn't truth be an instinct too?
I don't think truth. Like truth is something objective, but in my worldview, morality is not
Okay,
objective.
is it
So,
contrasted to the false?
can you repeat that?
Is the true contrasted to the false?
Yeah.
Ought we choose the true over the false?
In most cases, I'd say so.
Oh, so now you just contradicted because you affirmed an ought. So how do you get an ought from everything just is instincts and morals?
Well, because pursuing truth, I'd say, is an instinct.
I just asked you if truth was merely an instinct, and you said no, so now you've contradicted. So good try, though. Nice try. Ola, what's up? I just don't like, if I was an atheist and I was going to go debate people, I would at least just learn basics, just a few basics. And it's just amazing how just absolutely arrogant and just unhinged people are, with just no concern whatsoever. It's the same with Muslims. I mean, Muslims and atheists are pretty much around the same sort of, like, I'm going to say like around the same tier. Ola, what's up?
Hey there, Jay. My name is Mohammed. I just want to say thank you for the debate you did with Sam Shamoun a while back. I left the religion of Islam because of it.
Oh, good.
And the question that I have for you is, I'm relatively new to the faith, but I like debating, but I don't really have like a real like in-depth understanding of the religion. It may be a dumb question, but would you still recommend debating it, or would you recommend finding or really building a basis before I go off to argue against other Muslims?
No, you need to become orthodox and become grounded before getting into a bunch of debate. Great question, though. Great question. Very important. Evarizio, what's up? Yeah, I mean, you got to be catechized, brought into Orthodox Church. Otherwise, I can't say, yes, go debate. Somebody said, did you debate Molyneux yet, part 2? I mean, that's supposed to happen. We don't know if it will. I mean, I hope so. But as last thing I heard, Molyneux was wanting to do it, but this is kind of in the domain of World War debate and whether that entity can, get it going. So I'm not sure. Everizio, what's up?
What's up, Jay? Sorry to use you as my personal nerd this night, but I watched one of your streams where you were talking about Renee's line of thought of he thinks, therefore he is false because he can't prove that other people thinks. And while that does track, I was reading St. John of Damascus's text. When he was defining a human or man's nature as rational, mortal animal, would that still be true if...
Yeah, so John Damascus is using the basic Aristotelian idea. That's not what Descartes is doing, is trying to find indubitable epistemic certitude. So they're very different in what their purposes are by those phrases. But no, when Descartes says, I think, therefore I am, it's not really anything to do with what John Damascus is doing by looking for a basic definition of what humans are as rational animals.
So is there an actual reason that, or what was John's stance on the nature of man?
I mean, I don't understand what the question is. I mean, he says quite a bit in Fount of Knowledge and on the Orthodox Faith. So just saying, I think we could agree with Aristotle. There's nothing wrong with saying man's a rational animal. That doesn't mean that there's no other statements or that exhausts man in definition. You can say other things about man. Man also has nature and person distinct within him. But there's nothing wrong with saying man is a rational animal. It's a true statement.
On the later books, because I just finished the On Heresies.
Yes.
Book.
Yeah, he will expand quite a bit and get into nature and person, both in the Fount of Knowledge and on the Orthodox Faith. Good question. Daniel Petra, what's up, man? By the way, it's open forum. Feel free to call in. We had a lot of oddballs today. A lot of odd persons, odd calls, which is fine. Odd calls from odd balls and Randy balls. If you want to call in, if you're one of those oddballs, you go to the head of the line. I'm not going today to people that I've heard many, many times. I'm speaking specifically to the Ortho Bros, not dissing you guys. Love you guys, but unless you are JR, Rachel, Alexander, or FDA, or Chase, I'm not going to you. Everybody else is, every freaking Ortho Bro piles in there every time I do an open forum, and I want to go to other people. Go ahead, man. What's up?
What's up, Jay? How you doing this evening?
Good.
Good, man. Good. Hey, I just had a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm new to the faith, new to the Orthodox faith, been attending St. Elijah's, unfortunately the only one in my town. One of the big problems that I'm running into is I feel like I would, forgive me for saying this, I feel like I would be getting further along within the progression in this church if I was a nigger.
That's really funny. I mean, you realize that you can say that on YouTube and it doesn't do anything to the channel now. So there's sounds like a Roman Catholic there. Shamgar, what's up? Roman Catholics love to do that. Ban that Chase Haggard guy. He's cruising for a bruising. So Jonathan, what's up? And then Shamgar. So I feel sure that somebody shared this link in some Roman Catholic tradcat because this is what they do. What's up?
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
You know what? I got to back you out. It's not working. I'm sorry.
You could, those words don't get you banned anymore, so it doesn't do anything. Shamgar Goads, unmute.
Hey, Jay. I've been looking into Orthodox. I grew up in a Prot church my whole life, and I've been trying to talk to some of my friends, bringing some of these arguments that make a lot of sense to me. And they just seem to dodge them all. Is that just, how normal is that? That's what I was really thinking.
Very normal. It's a natural inclination and reaction when your paradigm is changed to go into defense mode. So, maybe back off a little bit, let them stir on it. There's also clever ways that you can go about this. You know, you don't have to do the debate approach that I do. You can, but a lot of times with friends and family, you know, they've seen you in your poopy pants. They're not going to listen to you telling them about this or that, about how the world really works. So probably with a lot of people, do the Dr. Phil approach, right? What does Dr. Phil do? He doesn't do an aggressive approach, and everybody's such gigantic pussies and vaginas these days that if you ever confront a person, it's the end of the world. So you have to be very passive with everyone because everyone else is so scared of everything and get their feelings hurt. Do the Dr. Phil approach and say, is it possible that maybe Jesus set up a church? Is it possible that the church determined the canon? Do you think that's is it possible that your position could be wrong? Just plant the seed of doubt, maybe. If your aggression is not working, your microaggressions against me. Killy, what's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Hi, I really wanted to thank you for everything you're doing. I've been completely convinced of orthodoxy, and I'm looking for a Roquefort church. I found one near me. It's about an hour and a half away. But I've been listening to a lot of your debates with Protestants on Sola Scriptura, and I don't really have a question about Sola Scriptura, but I guess kind of listening to their arguments, I don't really see how they can even claim to have the New Testament. And
Well, I mean, the way that they get to it is they just will, refer to Athanasius or Jerome. So they'll just pick a church father and be like, oh, well, he's the one that obviously was correct. It's like, well, but why? I mean, you don't believe anything else he believes, so why is he correct?
Well, I mean, even before that, I hear a lot of people that will go to the jot and tittle verse.
Well, that doesn't tell you what the New Testament is. But see, that doesn't tell you the New Testament.
No, but what I'm getting at is, would that not have been spoken before even the New Testament was written? So wouldn't that
That's what I'm saying. Of course.
them from having a New Testament? Shouldn't it just be an Old Testament in their view if they're being logically consistent?
Yeah, and they're going to say, right, yes, that's correct. And they're going to say, but it's assuming that there will be a eventual collection of a New Testament. But that's the thing is like, yeah, but that doesn't tell you which books make it up. So it's just begging the question. Anthony, what's up? John, do you want to say something?
I was going to say to the guy who was inquiring into St. John Damascus that many years ago, Jay recommended On the Orthodox Faith to me, and even though I'm not as philosophically minded and sound as Jay, I probably know a little bit more about philosophy than the average person. And when I read On the Orthodox Faith, being an agnostic at the time, that made everything make sense to me. So that book in particular made everything make sense to me. I just wanted to say that to the guy who's inquiring.
Yeah, appreciate that, John. And also, guys, remember, if you go to my channel, at the very bottom, there's a playlist where I've lectured through the entirety of On the Orthodox Faith by John Damascus. So you can come down here and you'll see, let's see, it's the third one, which is the first part of this series here on metaphysics. The third installment is John Damascus, and then the fifth one is John Damascus, and then the seventh one and the eighth one. So there's about 4 or 5 lectures right there. So if you want to kind of follow along as you read it or whatever, it can be difficult at times. Anthony, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, Jay?
Hey.
So I kind of got like an off-topic question, not really something you're talking about right now, but it's kind of having to do with like the elite agenda and kind of like the transhumanism type stuff.
Please ask me something other than tag.
So I've been listening to a lot of Orthodox thinkers on YouTube lately, and I've heard a lot of like the transhumanism, not really debate. I don't really think it's debatable. I mean, it's definitely where they're heading. And I've heard a lot of people speak on how we're reverting back into sort of like paganism sort of stuff. So kind of what are your thoughts on like a transhumanist future and then that kind of becoming like a paganist type like religion? I don't really know. It's just kind of, I've been thinking about that a lot, and I wanted to hear what your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, when I wrote the first Esoteric Hollywood book, I talked about that quite a bit. There's several chapters where I discussed the possibility of not just pushing transhumanism, but also tying it to some kind of religion. We discussed that with covering, you know, Jamie did a book report with me on many years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, H.G. Wells's lesser known book, God the Invisible King, where he admits that he's a Luciferian and that the future religion is not atheism, but some form of Luciferian technocracy. You know, the Huxleys, with their promotion of transhumanism, coining the term, they tend to favor some kind of perennialist, syncretist religion of the future, which would tie into transhumanism. So I think there's definitely going to be some push for that. You know, the exact mechanics and specifics of how it'll roll out, we don't know, but yeah, I definitely think that's in the cards and that's going to be pushed. Anthony, what's up? I mean, remember we just did Changing Images of Man, and that basically says, you know, they're going to have some kind of future transhumanist, utopian tech religion. Go ahead. Well, he left. Nico, what's up? Once I said I'm not going to the usual Ortho Bros, there was like 20 people in line, and then now it's down to like 5. So it's like the standard Ortho Bro tag questions. Now, guys, we've got one super chat towards the goal. Do you guys want to? Which is weird because there's a bunch of super chats, but maybe when I specify this, you know, the specifics, that makes it not count towards the goal. I'm not sure, but if you guys want to support the stream, you can do so through Streamlabs. What's up, man?
Hello, Jay.
Hey.
So I wanted to answer on the last guy. He asked about the transhumanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have actually prophecies from Saint Paisius speaking about this, and he spoke about also about the things that you're speaking with the Vatican and NATO. Saint Paisius said that basically the plans come, you know, through the Jews, and they push it through CIA to the Vatican. So, and the Vatican, they
Saint Paisius specifically said that?
Sorry?
He specifically said that?
Yeah, Saint Paisius said that. Is also, you can see it in, I've read it in the book, but you can see it on a YouTube video. Is a short video that basically speaks on his book, and is basically word for word what he said.
Okay.
And,
well, that sounds like what we talk about. So.
Yeah. But there are many prophecies that, you know, I called you, I think, before 1 month ago. And basically, I was going next day, before I called you, I was going to Mount Athos.
Cool.
Yeah, and I told you that there is many recent saints of the last century that had many prophecies, and actually I wanted to tell you from before that it was going to be nice if you go to Mount Athos. There is still some, you know, holy people living there, and I don't want to say, you know, there is some still saints living, like there is saints still living in our days.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that at all. Yeah, I appreciate that, Nico. Thank you for that. I didn't actually know that. I mean, I know that Paisius has a lot of the prophecies to talk about these types of things. I didn't know it was that specific, so that's cool to hear that. Jonathan, what's up? I have one of his books, but it's just part of the series. I don't have the whole 3 or 4 volumes. What's up, man?
Hey, Jay. First time, long time. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up? Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Jay. Big fan. You got me out of my wine mom Christianity, so thank you for that. And I did want to ask about a couple of a spook and another person that I've heard you refer to before. I was listening to a podcast today with Dr. Joseph Farrell and a spook called Walter Bosley. And he's just a really interesting guy who said that his OSS mentor taught him necromancy to get intel. And I was just curious if you had heard of that guy before, because he is evidently friends with Joseph Farrell, and I thought it was very interesting.
Don't know. I mean, I've heard of that guy. I know that he did something on Breakaway Civilizations maybe 10 years ago, but I've not kept up with Farrell or any of that stuff in the last 10 years, so don't know about that. Pre-sup, what's up, man?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Hi, so this is Precept Punisher.
Is this Voice of Reason? Is this Voice of Reason?
Twitch/Precept Punisher.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Finally engaged.
Did you text me with a plump booty or no? Do you have
I'm here to actually discuss the issues.
Do you have a plump booty or no? I only talk to plump booties. Is this Voice of Reason?
I may or may not be Voice of Reason. That is nothing. It's Precept Punisher.
This sounds a little bit like this is Chase Haggard doing Voice of Reason's voice.
You sound literally insane right now.
Well,
Everyone in chat knows you sound crazy. So I wanted to ask you one question.
Go for it. Go for it.
All right, have a good one. I broke.
I knew it was you. I knew that was you. Dude, I don't know your Chase cadence. Come on, bro. You can't fool me like that. Randall, what's up? You guys notice how I knew it was Chase like within like 2 seconds? See, I'm good like that. Randall, what's up? Chase should have kept with that a little more. We should have had a Voice of Reason off between us. That would have been fun. Randall, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's good to get on live for the first time. I'm a big fan of your channel. But I had 2 questions for you.
Okay.
One, I'm Orthodox, but I did have a question kind of related to something somebody was asking earlier when he was talking about why can't Protestants offer latria outside of the context of the church.
Okay. Yeah, waiting. We lost you, dude. All right. Who else? Who's left? I recognize the other people as Ortho Bros who call in. I told you I'm not going to go to the Ortho Bros that always call in. No offense to you guys. I love you guys. But tonight is for new people, new callers, not the old guard. So if you're in the chat, we still got 1,300 or so over here. You want to call in right there. I think I went to you, but we'll go to you, Evarizio. What's up, man? This is the last chance, last call for alcohol.
Hey, man, me again.
What's up?
Now I have a question about your esoteric side. Do you have a specific actor that you think that Hollywood props up more than others? I was watching this one video on how they use Robin Williams for a lot of the things that they do, like including like transhumanist, Masonic stuff, and like even atheism.
That's a good question. I would say, the more A-list and high tier that you get, you probably kind of are roped into being a, promoter of or a kind of face for more and more weird stuff. I mean, Tom Cruise seems to be heavily promoted still. He's the one that immediately comes to mind as sort of still, a many decades face of Hollywood, still an A-lister, so that's actually a good question. I would say probably there is some of that going on. What's up, Jared?
Howdy. I have been evangelical forever, my whole life. This is like day one of trying to get into Orthodoxy. Could you say again what or where I could find the lectures that you've done on like Orthodoxy 101 and
yeah, just type in Introduction to Orthodoxy, Introduction to Orthodoxy, top 10 Orthodox books to read, Introduction to Ecumenical Councils. You'll find all those on my channel. Yes, Pedro Pascal, that's a great example of somebody that is propped up for his ridiculous political positions. That's a great example. I didn't even think about him. Danime, Yeah, good job in the chat there. Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah, he's a good one. I mean, Leonardo is like 100% globalist agenda forever, so he's a great example. But I would say probably, Tom Cruise is probably still a much bigger name even than Leo these days. What's up, man? Unmute. Actually, maybe we should change it up because I was going to play some of these trailers. I meant to do a trailer reaction stream the other day because what's up, man?
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm a Protestant. Well, I'm a Protestant Trinitarian. I don't know if that's even a thing, but
You don't know if that's a thing.
I got a question about my dad. My dad's a pastor. Obviously, you guys are Orthodox, so that doesn't really mean anything to you guys. But for the most part, he's a pastor, and he does know a lot about the Bible. But there's some things that he's been saying that's been like, it's been throwing me off because like I just know it's not true, but I don't know how to handle it. He said stuff. He said this one thing that was like, he said that Yahweh, the God of the Old Testament, the name of God in the Old Testament, he says that's the old name, and Jesus doesn't hold the name Yahweh anymore, which doesn't make any sense to me. Is this like, would this be considered heretical? Is my main question.
I mean, the New Testament and the Old Testament explain that the Son is the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord is given the divine name. Jesus is the name of the Father, etc. All of these phrases are used. Jesus has the same names that the Father has in the Old Testament and the New Testament. So that's not true. Mac, what's up? Just watch my videos on the deity of Christ in the Old Testament and the theophanies in the Old Testament. Mac, what's up?
Oh, hey. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Uh-huh.
All right, so I have a very basic question. I'm quite new to the Orthodox Church. And I was kind of wondering, like, what is the status between the Greek and the Russian patriarchs right now? Are they still kind of not happy with each other?
Yeah, they are not in communion. I have multiple talks on that, so I would say just go check out. I mean, not trying to be rude, but it's just too much to address all that and sort of repeat it. But do you guys want to move on to trailer reactions? Because I wanted to look at some of the new movies coming out. There's actually quite a few that look pretty fun. And thank you guys for tuning in. I can't handle many more calls just because like it's getting tired. And I do want to look at some of these movies coming out because it looks like there might be some interesting films. And that'd be a little change of pace from not that guy. That was a nice guy. I appreciate his question, but I just can't rehearse all that again. We've done many podcasts on these things. So guys, usually and I'm not trying to say you can't call in and ask a question, but usually when people call in, we've done that topic. And unfortunately, it's the same with the movies too, although a lot of times the movies don't come up. So let's look at a couple films that I thought looked like they might be decent. It ain't going to be Supergirl. The Odyssey. This is interesting. Christopher Nolan, probably the most famous living director these days. I mean, there could be a couple other contenders, but probably the heir apparent to, what's left of Hollywood in the studio system. This does look like it could be a really good film. I think we're going to probably do some dissections of this one in the near future. I do enjoy Homer. Homer has a lot of interesting things that you can decode. I don't know if this will be too deep. It could be. I mean, Nolan's brother, I don't know if he's writing this, but probably, I mean, Nolan's brother has done some pretty interesting Gnostic, esoteric type stuff. How do you know it looks horrible from the trailer? I think there's this tendency where people just say everything looks horrible. I don't recall Nolan being super woke. I didn't like Oppenheimer. I thought Oppenheimer sucked. But he's not the worst of woke. Is there black Trojans? I don't know. That's not a black dude. Let's see if there's any brothers. Are you saying there wasn't black Greek people that was indigenous? You looking at one right here. That ain't no black dude. What you talking about? Now, is it possible that Christopher Nolan ruins it? Yes. But don't care about Avengers. Disclosure. This is interesting because it's going to fit into the TikTok siege. What are y'all talking about? Oh, with Andrew. Do one with Andrew. Well, tell Andrew to have me on. I've never been on a siege with them. That could be fun. Shoreline says $10. Do a TikTok siege with Andrew. Interesting. That could happen. Or did you mean a siege? You came here from a TikTok siege. Branwell, $50. Guys, please pray for my dad. He has cancer. He might only have a year left. His name is Tony. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Appreciate that, Branwolf. Definitely pray for Branwolf's dad. And also, my father is in bad health as well, so you guys can pray for my dad as well. Ortho, bro, $10. No, we did that one. Murat Tak Bulut. He's always gifting those memberships like crazy. He gifts 20 memberships. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. JT says for $7. I can't call in. Did you ban me? I don't know. Sorry if I'm dumb. It was technical difficulties. Well, I don't know. Ortho Bro, 5 memberships. Thank you for gifting that. Contemporary Compendium, $5. Here's $5. Can you just say the word banana of the butt? Because there's a person in the chat that doesn't like it. I mean, it's the guy's name. He super chats. I'm going to read his name. Hick Alert, $5. Hick at Heart, $5. I like Hick Alert better than Hick at Heart. Do you believe in such things as innately holy languages? Did God choose Greek because it's innately holy? No. I think that's kind of superstitious and silly. It's more of a Roman Catholic, Jewish trad cat idea. Like Jews think Hebrew is magic. Roman Catholics think Latin's magical and holy. It's just silly. Banana up to about $50. Jay, did you read Saeed Qutb's writings? I have not. You should cover milestones for modern political Islam. Yeah, we will. In fact, tomorrow we have a live stream with Kai on geopolitical motivations with Islam. What is Islam's role in today's geopolitics? What's the history of Islam in a geopolitical sense? So we'll be on tomorrow live, you guys, with Kai, and hopefully this supposed polar vortex, they always hype this shit up like it's going to be the end of the world. We'll probably get like half an inch of snow. I don't know. But if we get some sort of crazy weather and I can't stream, that's going to be rough. But you can look forward to, if we do get a polar vortex, deep freeze, you're going to get a lot of live streams because that's all there is to do. So we'll see what the weather does. But we'll be doing that tomorrow. And it sounds like this book would fit well. You said one of his points is the being the vanguard like Lenin. Qutb wrote social justice books in Islam as well early on before his radicalism. Saeed Qutb. Milestones. I'm going to have to get that. Let me write that down. This dude is great for sources. He's bankrupted me on my Amazon list. Illy Chris, $5. But Jay, the keys. Exactly. Who cares about anything else in the Roman Catholic world other than just say the keys, dude? Now, I did a whole section in Esoteric Hollywood 110 years ago warning you that they would be eventually pushed on a mass scale through the Spielberg apparatus, the idea of alien disclosure. And here we are, Spielberg's new movie, Disclosure Day, where Emily Blunt will be live on stream shorting out in some sort of MK Ultra short out because the aliens begin to speak through her or to her and what do you know, it's clicking sounds. Can we get some other form of communication by the alien overlords other than this stupid ass clicking? And why do we think aliens click? Is that's not some advanced form of communication? It's like super primitive. It just sounds stupid. And we've heard aliens clicking since the freaking 90s. Okay. Has a breakdown because aliens start talking while she's on live news. And wow, isn't that amazing? So Spielberg's doing an alien movie. More propaganda. Hunger Games. This is getting a little old. I do like the aesthetic that they've chosen for this new Hunger Games movie. It's like retro Logan's Run aesthetic. That I think looks kind of cool. Don't know if the movie will be that good, but the aesthetic definitely looks cool. I'm trying to fast forward to the part where, yeah, so we've got this like 70s Logan's Run look to it, which I do like. So, but is it going to be any good? I mean, we all kind of know what's going on with the Hunger Games. Let's see. I did like Ready or Not. So I think part 2 is called The Bride. What is this? Young Washington. Is he black? I'm only watching it if he black now. Young Washington. He black. He black. No, this is Frankenstein's wife. So I don't know about this one. I thought this was Lady Gaga when I was like, is this Lady Gaga? Why is she Frankenstein's bride? I don't know. This looks like a bunch of MK Ultra nonsense. Shelter. What is this? Shelter. Let's see. Oh, every Jason Statham movie is every other Jason Statham movie. I don't know. Scream. They need to put Jamie Kennedy back in Scream somehow. Then I'll be into some Scream. What is this? No, I'm not watching that. Don't care about that. Bone Temple. The thing about Bone Temple is, yes, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna do an analysis of it because we did a big analysis of 28 years later. The thing is, it's very nihilistic, and there is at least some symbolism that you can decode. But these Luciferian nihilistic movies are just sort of, it's just kind of played out. It's like, how many times do we have to see, the idea that there is no redemption, there is no God, it's just pure, survival, get used to it. I expect that that's what the Bone Temple is going to be about. And usually what you get now with a lot of these zombie movies is, oh, actually, it's the zombies that are more human than the human, right? The humans are the ones that are the real disastrous, wicked people. And it's, oh, no, the AI are actually more virtuous than the humans. So a lot of this ends up just being sort of anti-human propaganda. Matt Dadbod and Ben Affleck, this movie was actually way better than I expected. If you're looking for something that's an entertaining, edge of your seat kind of cop thriller, I thought The Rip was pretty good. I have one critique though. So basically, the first half of this movie is phenomenal. I mean, it's like edge of your seat. It's a unique twist on the vice cop genre, where they are tempted to take a very large drug heist stack of money, and they think they can get away with it because nobody else has been really alerted to it within the department. And the whole first half of the movie is just this amazing, tense sequence of what would you do in this situation if you were on the Vice Squad? You make $80,000 a year in Miami, which is not very much, and you've got this temptation to take $200 million. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I am going to criticize the thing that kept it from being just an excellent. It would have been probably one of the best movies in years, and I'm very critical of Affleck and Matt Dadbod, and they almost pulled it off, right? But you've got this one movie, which is the first half, where we're, it's like, this is like a thriller that Hollywood hasn't made in 20 or 30 years. And then, for some reason, they decide, okay, let's do a whole different movie for the second half of the movie. And let's go into this ridiculous Hollywood action sequence that's totally implausible, it's totally preposterous. If they had just kept the freaking movie in the neighborhood and made it this tense thriller about this siege that goes down in the neighborhood, that would have been awesome. why did they feel the need to interject a totally different movie for the almost like the third act? And it just becomes really implausible. So this was almost a phenomenal movie. I wish I could have. I will send Matt Dadbod and Ben Baffleck a strongly worded email to help them out on their next endeavor. Now, Send Help, I think, will be a good movie, although, let's be honest, this is going to be some ridiculous feminist nonsense, right? So we have basically, which actually kind of a good idea for a movie. You've got this evil patriarch CEO who mistreats, right, his humble Quirk Chungus girl secretary. Rachel McAdams is this Quirk Chungus girl who's got a mean, abusive CEO man who's demanding she get the coffees right now. Like, because we all know every CEO is just like, get the coffee, bitch. Because that's what white men do. They just grape and pillage the secretaries, right? It's like they're 10 times worse in reality than Don Draper, right? All they did is just grape their way through this secretary world, just mistreating them. Basically, they're human trafficked. Every secretary is human trafficked by the patriarchy and the CEO. And so poor Quirk Chungus here, guess what? She gonna get her revenge. How? Well, the plane crash, okay? It goes full Lost, okay? And who survives? Just the CEO and little Quirk Chungus. Well, honey, you get me on the island alone with a white man CEO and things about to change, okay? The tables have turned. And this little white boy can't handle a strong black woman, much less a little white Quirk Chungus woman. Well, turns out she turns on her full powers. She goes full psycho on that white man, put him in his place. Now, if we filter out the ridiculous nonsense, this might actually be somewhat entertaining. Of course, we know it's going to be just a feminist revenge fantasy because this is all that exists, is these fantasies of revenge against the evil white Christian patriarchy, which is obviously what this is going to be. But it might actually be, just setting all that nonsense aside, it might actually be a pretty good idea for a movie to, we got references right here to Lost Boys, or no, excuse me, Lord of the Flies, right? She brings the pig head. And we like island fiction. We've done multiple, welcome to Woke Island. She about to turn that into Woke Island. So the normal world, that's patriarchy world. Welcome to Woke Island, bitch. No, that looks dumb. Mercy. This is already tanked here, unfortunately. The Chris Pratt's dystopia movie it's already tanking. Which I'm not a Chris Pratt hater. I think Chris Pratt's seems like a kind of based on the download kind of dude. I want to hope, he's kind of based on the download. I did like Ready or Not. It was an interesting insight into the occult satanic elite. So this might be good too. This is part 2 where they are hunting the bride. There might be some interesting revelations in that. Don't care about any of these. Don't care about this. No. Well, we have a friend involved in this one, Crime 101, Halle Berry and what's his face here. And this might be a good one. I've heard good things about Crime 101. Unfortunately, I do like the Silent Hill genre, but this has gotten the worst reviews of the year. So they've already, and again, sometimes the critics are wrong, so that's true. I will still watch the new Silent Hill, but it's unfortunately already got the worst reviews of the year. We will decode it though. I don't really care anything about this new Dracula, mainly because this dude is just so ugly. This dude's face drives me crazy. And you've seen him in some things. I don't remember his name, but I just don't like this guy's face. And sometimes faces that are unappealing. That guy, I forget his name, but he just does not have a likable face. So this guy, do I want to see that guy as Dracula? Do I want to see his face for 2 hours? I don't. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. I think this will be really good with Sam Rockwell. Usually Sam Rockwell is a pretty funny guy, and he's a good comedic actor. This looks like it'll be a fun satire. David Fincher. I think this is so we have a new David Fincher coming out, and sticking true to his usual genre, David Fincher is doing a satanic serial killer movie. So that will be ripe for decoding. It's called Psycho Killer. I think this is it. This chick is in every horror movie now. I forget her name, but these are the new Scream Queens. She's in every horror movie. This is, I want to make sure it's David Fincher. Did I get this wrong? Looks very Twin Peaksy, but also kind of like Seven. Seven is a David Fincher movie, so. And then, let's see, there was a couple more. We Bury the Dead. I actually think this will be good. I think We Bury the Dead has potential. The zombie genre is played out, but this looks like it's a well-crafted, tense, gritty, on the edge of your seat kind of thriller, which looks like they put a little more thought into this version of the zombie epidemic. So I'm looking forward to We Bury the Dead. And anyway, we'll stop there. There's a couple more that I thought looked good, but remember that next week, you guys, we will be with Jim Bob Monday decoding the now cult classic Under the Silver Lake. So you can turn on the notifications to be ready. If you guys want to watch the films to be up to date on your homework, you can watch Under the Silver Lake or David Fincher's The Killer before Monday to analyze and break down these two films with me and Jim Bob. Now, we've broken down Under the Silver Lake in the past. However, it's one of those movies that a lot of times requires sort of multiple viewings to properly decode. I did notice the last time I watched it, several things that I missed in my initial breakdown with Tristan, but Jim Bob and I think we'll do a good job breaking this one down, and the David Fincher film as well. So get ready for that one Monday. Otherwise, remember to head over to chalk.com, the best in supplementation on the internet, choq.com. That is our show sponsor. You can also get started with Bitcoin through using the Swan referral link. Swan Bitcoin in the chat that is my referral link there. I'll read some of the super chats that we have. Illy says $5. Emperor, what's up? Sending out memberships. Appreciate that. Alter Void, $10. It means that Erica Kirk is an alien, and she's wearing the same meat sack model that the previous Erica Kirk wore when she was before reincarnated. Yes, exactly. That's definitely what's happening. Mudwork. Conspiracy theories were promised to the chosen 3,000 years ago. Now, con theories are mainstream. They muddy the waters with fake conspiracies. None of your business, $2. Owen's fallacy is now a fallacy. Right? I don't know. What would you even call the Candace Owens fallacy? Just what I feel. Millstone Creek. What's up? 40 Crush, $5. Notice the imam was covering his ears. Even he doesn't want to hear his caterwauling. None of your business, $5. I'm telling you, the name Owen causes problems. Sneeko, Owens. Owens. You can refute Candaceism and Owenism. Alter Void, $5. So were the trads only gay and not bi? That's a good question. Is it more trad to be Skittles or to be bi? I'm not sure. But to ask the trad cats what the proper traditional position is there. Sly Blood, $5. I think E.P. Bartholomew defrocked a non-ecumenist. It was one of the Orthodox dudes yapping about it. Greek Orthodox. Interesting. I don't know about that, but not surprised. Formerly Mistaken. What's up? Jonathan Britton, member, 6 months. When I read for fun, I have a blast reading espionage-based fiction. What's your favorite genre? Or who is your favorite in that genre? I've not read any espionage-based fiction. So I don't know who those people are. Sorry. I wish I had read more of that genre. I mean, I've read some of the, I've read like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. So I've read Joseph Conrad. So, but I've read Ian Fleming. I guess you could say those are history-based fiction in a way. But I don't know the people that you're talking about. Brad Thor? No, I haven't read any of that. Shoreline, $10. TikTok siege with Andrew. Do you mean you're coming in or that I should do that? Banana about $5. I hope the banana you were eating wasn't the one that was, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Hope so. I hope so too. Flavia's $50. Thank you so much. Here's for having to deal with all this nonsense today. Well, you guys make it all worth it. So I try to bite my tongue and be patient. Today was very difficult. We had a lot of oddballs, a lot of weird calls and comments. So it was definitely a challenge today. Octavian, what's up, man? Octavian says you need to be more sassy. Well, this is the year of patience. I'm really struggling. I'm trying hard. You guys pray for me. I need grace to be more patient. More patient. Eddie, the Collins have a combined IQ of a potato tonight. We had some challenges tonight. Zane, $5. It's hard to have patience when the trolls come in. We had quite a few trolls tonight too. So it was definitely, but hey, this is all practice in learning the virtue of patience. So there we go. Audit Ireland, $5. I would have been a member of the jury at the trial of Socrates. Well, if you had been a member of the jury trial of Socrates, how would you have voted on the charge that he was impious and corrupted the youth? I mean, that's a challenge. It's a good question. It's a good hypothetical, but I mean, we have to kind of put ourselves in a pagan mindset. So am I me now, or am I me as a, Greek pagan person? I mean, probably most of the Greek pagans at that time would have thought he was corrupting the youth. So, yeah, I probably would have thought he was too. True patristic, $5. What's up? Cleve's Antiquity, $2. When is the Twin Peaks debate? Well, how about Cleve? You can have me and Father Stephen on, and we'll have a good conversation on your channel. Frankish Melkite, $5. Did you see the Mechanist or the Machinist with Christian Bale? I don't like that movie. And I don't like. I know I'm one of the few. I don't like Memento. Everybody likes Memento. A lot of people like The Machinist. I don't like either one. And I've given Memento multiple chances. I just don't think it just doesn't. I mean, it's not bad acting, or I just don't remember. I remember not liking The Machinist. It was a little too much for me. Shoreline, $5. Do a raid on who? Who should we raid? What do you mean? You mean TikTok? I have a really hard time with. I mean, if you guys want me to learn patience, me going into TikTok is probably the worst for me to do. They're so bad, man. People on TikTok are so dumb, dude. It's so annoying. I mean, I understand. I get the appreciation for. Well, what I'm saying, Cleve, is like we don't have to have just a podcast on Twin Peaks. What I'm saying is you can do a podcast and then we have like a few minute segment debating or discussing Twin Peaks. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of, say, Westerns, that are well-made movies, but I'm just not a fan of the genre. And a lot of these weird, like the time mix movies, I've never really. I mean, I like Back to the Future, but Time Crimes is okay. I get it. It's a clever, independent time travel movie, but most time travel movies are retarded. I don't like it. I mean, it's just so preposterous, and it's a device that's been overused. I mean, how many times are we going to make the time paradox thing in a movie? It's just overdone and it's stupid in my view. So, and I get, I think maybe you've got Memento and then you've got other films that try to play with time in a creative, intelligent way. I think Christopher Nolan was trying to do that with, so can I do the raid while I'm live? I think you can see if, I know it's in the settings somewhere where you can dump it. I can dump all you people. I can poop all you people into somebody else's stream. Let's see. I think it's in edit. So if we come down here, I always forget how to do this. I know everybody else does it, and I feel bad because I don't do it, but I always forget how to do it. It's not me being a douchebag. It's me forgetting where you do this at. Is it customization? Let's see. Is it there? Redirect. There we go. So let's see. Redirect to Crucible. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So it's under redirect, under customization. That's where it is. Anyway, don't like time travel movies. I'm sorry. Don't like Westerns. But I think there's some good ones in the genre. It's just not, to me, it's just not that interesting. Ortho Do, $10. Thank you for Nihilism by Sarah from Rose analysis you did. This was my beginning into orthodoxy. Your older content, deconstructing heterodoxy and world religions, is a gold mine. Yeah, thank you. I mean, people can always make use of all that older content. And the Clips channels are continually sort of reviving a lot of that old gold. So have at it. Zane, hard to have patience with trolls. Yep. Sign of the Times, $10. Thank you for all the work. Your content has helped me leave Roman Catholic RCIA, and I'm seeking out orthodoxy. That's great, man. Matt Scroggins, here's $10 for your troubles. A lot of faking gay people calling in today. That's the other words. A lot of trolls today. Audit Ireland, $5. No, we did that one. Second Actuality, $3. Here's for dealing with all the tards today, Jay. Thank you. True Patristic, $5. Thank you. Richard Kyle Milligan, $5. Thank you. Cuthbert, $10. I'm a catechumen. Glory to God. Found your channel. It was pivotal in my conversion. Thanks for all you do. Thank you so much, Cuthbert. Appreciate that. Many years to you. John, $1. Flavius, $20. Thank you. Anthony, $10. I love what you do. You've helped me out a lot. Thank you so much, Anthony. You guys are really nice to me tonight. Everybody's being generous because we had so many oddballs and weirdos. But hey, that's part of the fun. Funko Monk, $5. When is a 5-hour talk dedicated to fasting and Pakistani tag objections? Well, that ends up being half of the talks. So you ought to be happy with most of the talks because that ends up being what all the talks are. What is your question about the tag? What is the question of coherence? Why do you have coherence today? What the PSA? Blue Pyramid, $10. Jay, debate me on the Trinity. No, wait. Would you debate Tinty? He's questioning. I thought you said Trinity. Wait. Would you debate Tinty? I thought that said debate Trinity. He's questioning the protocols of the Scrolls of Oblivion. Sounds like a joke question. JB, $5. When will you ever talk about PSA, penal substitutionary atonement? Exactly. Never. We've never talked about it. Ado Tolkien, $5. Is it an observation if it relies on equipment? Do you mean like lab equipment? Yes, that's still an observation. How is it an observation when it's direct perception? I mean, observation just means that you're relying on your sense data. So it doesn't matter whether it's through a microscope or whether it's directly on the table, it's still observation. What about when it's observing quantum electrons and quantum stuff as digital rendering? Well, whether it's a rendering, it's still an observation, direct or indirect. So either way, you're still relying on sense data. You hurt my feelings, $5. J. Exactly. Anonymous, $5. What do you have to say about Christians that don't believe in the Old Testament? It's a different God. Well, that's called the heresy of Marcionism, and Marcionites are not Christians. They're heretics. Matt Scroggins, $5. It's a sequel to Signs. You got to hype up the demons, brah. Are you talking about Spielberg's Disclosure? What's a sequel to Signs? Oh, wait, hold on. Are you saying, hold on. I can't tell if he's joking with you. So wait, Disclosure is a sequel to Signs, or are you joking? I thought it was just another Spielberg alien slop movie. Is this a Shamalama Ding Dong movie? Let's see. Ain't no Shyamalan movie. What you talking about? Dude, just joking. Hey, dude, you know who was in this movie? Hey, do you know who in this movie? You know who it is? Yo, dog, that's Emily Blunt, dog. Hey, dog, I be smoking some Emily Blunt right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Who your favorite actress is? Emily Blunt, dog. Anyway, hey, y'all. Thank y'all. Have a good night, dog.